Good morning. Welcome to our July version of the third board meeting. So we have a quorum. Actually, the entire board is seated, which is very exciting. So let us first have the Pledge of Allegiance by our welcome back from being sick, Bert Moldow.
Allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Is the media present? Okay. No media present. Perhaps our general manager could do something about that. Do we have a motion to approve the agenda?
So moved.
Second. I don't want to be interruptive here. What screen are we supposed to be on? If you remember, those of you who are here or watching, again, we're using a new system.
Yep, no problem. You're on the right screen.
Okay. All right. So we have a motion, and it was seconded. All those in favor? We're supposed to, are they,
We want to be able to vote on that, so go ahead and do first and second.
It says motion and second, which one do you push?
in any case, I'm moving along while they figure it out because all of those voted for it, and they'll just have to wing it on the side. All right. So we need a motion to approve the minutes. And we'll do both of them together, if that's okay, the minutes of July 20th and, June 20th and June 29th. Do we have a motion? Susie?
Second.
Second is Steve. Are we getting this down somewhere? Okay. All those in favor of approving the minutes?
Wait.
Okay.
Let's go ahead and do a motion, please. Can we get a motion?
We did a motion.
Who did the motion? Who-
Susie did the motion.
And then who seconded?
Steve?
And go ahead and start voting.
Okay, good.
There we go.
There it is. All right. Shall we just, please forgive us, those of you who are watching, we're still having growing pains. All right. All right, so the results are everyone voted to approve the minutes. So now we will move along. Report of the chair. When it's time for our directors to speak, they have a number of exciting things they're going to go over. We'll be going over the where we are on the budget and when our next meeting is. More information on the election, and also Bill will give more information on solar, as well as all of our other exciting reports. From our perspective, the election is coming up, and serving on the board is really very, very important. So please, if you haven't already put in your application, just go up to the executive office. I believe that you see Catherine, who's sitting there, but she's upstairs most of the time, to get an application. So, and also, we will or might be having a position open on VMS. The person's term is up. We haven't discussed whether or not he wants to continue because he does a really good job, but that might be another opportunity, as well as the fact that on all of our committees, we have opportunities for those of you who want to work with this fabulous board, with our wonderful staff and general manager, and for the community. So that's what I have to say. At that point, I'm going to turn this over to our representative from VMS, who is here, Marcy Scheinwald.
You showed up? Good morning, everybody. Thank you for the opportunity to tell you what we've been doing in VMS since the last time that I've been here, and I think even since Dennis was here last month. We have updated our strategic plan, and we are meeting with individual directors at each meeting to review the plan, to review their progress, to update our objectives. I'm sorry.
We get mixed up here because
Sure.
everybody is a director.
Oh,
So,
I
you know, right, you know,
apologize.
so
I'm
it's like
department
Department
directors.
director.
We call them
Yes.
department heads now.
Right.
Department
because in the
heads
real
then-
world, right, and I'm going, okay, have you met with any of us? Or
No,
so it's
but
you
I
met-
welcome the
No,
opportunity.
That's okay. So you mean with the various department heads?
Department heads.
Former former name directors. Okay,
Yeah.
thank you. Thank you.
Okay,
Go ahead,
thank
Marcia.
you for the clarification. Last month, we met with Chris Spar, we reviewed resident services, and I was told that in the 3 months preceding that, they received 48,000 calls. That does include gate clearance and broadband, but those were telephone contacts. In addition, they had a little over 8,000 walk-in contacts, just to give you an idea of the volume that they are dealing with. On July 5th, we met with Tim Moy in terms of security, and he provided an update which was consistent with one of the VMS goals, which is a safe community. He reported on the success of his bicycle patrols. I don't know if everybody has seen them. They do go out in pairs, and he says the reason that they're successful is they have more flexibility in terms of getting around the community. They can get around quicker. He also reported that he was successfully able to do away with gate runners at gates 5 and 6, which he felt was an important accomplishment. And he also urged residents to use Dwelling Live. They also get a lot of calls. And in the first 6 months of this year, they got a little over 17,400 calls. Some of those are gate clearance requests. So if people use Dwelling Live, that would reduce some of the pressure on that division. It would provide greater efficiency for village residents, and it would help them manage who is coming through the gates. He also reported that they are now in the process of providing training for their dispatchers, and he hopes that improves response to resident contacts. Tomorrow, keeping up with our program, we'll be meeting with Ernesto Munoz on construction and maintenance, and we look forward to hearing his progress. In terms of our other goals, the second one that we usually spotlight is exemplary service. For all those who were at the July 4th event, that was certainly an example of exemplary customer service. Unfortunately, I was not there. I was away that night, but I've heard there was excellent entertainment, there was food provided, there were activities for children, and there was really excellent crowd control in terms of ensuring safety. Related to that, the general manager's office often receives contacts from residents. Some of them are complaints, but actually some of them are kudos and praise. Joni Pattison of 2298 recently contacted Mr. Hudson about the cleaning of the breezeway at that location. She wrote that it had been years since it was that clean, and the residents really appreciated it. Similarly, Beverly Gandol at 3032A wrote, thanking the landscape staff. Quote, despite the recent unusual challenges caused by extreme winter rains and windstorm, Dennis Pratt and Barb Merget most efficiently and effectively dispatched the considerable damage and then seamlessly returned to their normal pursuits of keeping us beautiful. A third goal of VMS is efficient operations, And Brad recently reported to our board that arrangements have recently been finalized to improve internet service by providing 3 times the bandwidth to residents at no extra cost. A human resources information system is now in operation, and an appointment system has been set up for manor alterations given the volume of people requesting assistance and the length of their contacts with manor alterations. Our 4th goal is transparent communications. The Breeze, the e-blast continue to provide information to village residents. And our last goal for VMS is to be an employer of choice. I believe Dennis last month reported to you on our pay scale and benefit studies, which showed that Laguna was in line with similar communities in our area of Southern Orange County. But our last goal, which we felt was significant, was succession and cross-training, given that we had lost staff, some of them management, that we needed to fill those gaps. I'm happy to report that this past month, the first phase of a succession training program was put in place with all, and I do have the wrong word here, directors, I'm going to change it to department heads and managers. And the next phase in August will involve all supervisors. By early fall, we hope to have a mentoring program in place. So that brings you up to date on some of the key highlights that VMS has been involved in. We will continue to monitor our strategic plan. We will continue to meet with department heads, and we will continue to keep you informed of our progress. Thank you for the opportunity to report this morning.
I have a question, and if anyone has a question for Marcia, if it's on, but we talk about the volume of calls that we get to resident services, which has been forever, the volume of calls. Do we, and I certainly don't expect someone, I'm sorry, I thought it was on, must be my pulse. We talk about the number of calls to resident services, and do we know, I mean, I certainly don't expect anyone to be ticking what kind of call they're for to give us, but there must be some type of summary that says 50% of the calls have to do with maintenance issues, or 20% have to do with landscape. I mean, so, because it's only when we review the types of calls or the volume of calls in specific areas that sometimes the staff is able to make corrective action. Do you have that information?
I don't have it. What I was provided was an overall summary. I can tell you of the number I gave you, approximately 1/3 was resident services, 1/3 was gate clearance, and 1/3 was broadband. But I can certainly ask Chris if she has the further data, and we can provide it.
Yeah, I just think it's really important, because that gives us a real indication of what's going on.
What's
Because
the concern?
It used to be in the past that for every call we got, probably we got a half a call from somebody who didn't get called back. And I assume that has improved quite a bit, it would be.
It has.
like
There is occasional
No, I mean, I'm
cases.
sure it's still there, but that was a big part of the volume.
Yes.
So you'd want to know, well, we've made an improvement in this area and this area. And my other thing is dwelling live. I don't think we have the use that we want from that. And my husband, who is pretty slick, had a little bit of a difficulty dealing with it. And he's like Mr. Computer Genius. So I don't know if we should, I don't know about the training video. Is there a training video?
Well, there are 2 ways to use Dwelling Live. I also probably shared your husband's frustration initially with the app, but I found a cute shortcut. I go on the village website. On the top banner, it says guest registration. That will immediately take you into Dwelling Live, and it's a very easy way to list your guests.
So I just think that maybe you should put it on your, you do your e-blast on Friday, and we do important things like talk about the Orange County Fair. Maybe we should just do a cute little, even though we've done it again and again, we might have to do it again and again.
Yes, I agree.
So thank you for bringing that up.
Okay, no problem.
So, and thank you very much for serving our community and for being part of Third Board.
Thank you very much. Have a nice morning, everybody.
So the next is our report of our CEO.
I put a.
Oh, wait, I'm
I-
sorry.
I put a request to speak
My
on here,
button-
and it didn't
mine
get
doesn't-
picked up.
Doesn't work, and forgive me, Marcy, you better.
Marcy, I have a question
You
for you.
better get back
Maybe
here.
I have an answer.
All right.
Well, I think you have an answer.
Forgive me.
Marcy, I may have missed your description of the July 4th events, but I had the impression that also the bus service worked marvelously. And I'm not sure you covered that, or I misheard.
No, I didn't. I talked about crowd control, which included the bus service, but you're absolutely right, because I was returning that night at around 9 o'clock when the people were leaving Clubhouse 2, and I have to tell you, impressed by how orderly it was. It
Great.
was really, the village had a great deal to be proud of.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you.
She's running for a seat. I don't have anyone else who has requested to speak, so So we can now move over to our general manager, CEO Brad Hudson.
Thank you, Honorable President, members of the board, members of the community. It's always great to come before you and chat about what's going on, at least from my perspective in the village. Just to follow up on the phone calls, we have a very sophisticated phone system. We know the characterization of every call that comes in, and about 360,000 a year are for gate access. That's the number that always sticks in my mind because it's a big number. Also, and everybody should probably know this, every call is recorded. All of them, 1.2 million of them. And we retain them and we use them for training purposes. When there's a complaint, the resident doesn't feel like they got the service they require, we go back and see what the interaction was and try to take corrective action either with the employee or with our training. So it's a very elaborate system and it has a lot of functionality. It'll be very, very useful when we merge all of our call centers together, which is coming along nicely. We brought cable in recently. Soon, we'll be bringing in security dispatch, which will operate 24/7, 365, right out of the downstairs here, and include property and resident services and gate access function as well. So it'll be pretty much one call does it all. And then probably the last piece, and the one I'm most fearful of, is moving transit over and having all those calls come into the call center as well. They provide a very specific and unique service to a very sensitive part of our community, particularly our severely handicapped riders, and making sure everything connects properly for them with their physicians and getting to the store and all that. So we want to make sure we really have the rest of this thing working right before we bring that along. So that'll probably be the last piece that we integrate. But all very exciting and all tied into our wonderful gate system, which we're expanding throughout the community. That presented a lot of that during budget hearings, and all the boards were very, very receptive about expanding the successes we've had at gates 5 and 6. So for third in the next year, and it'll be sooner than the next year because I'm going to try to start on these as quick as possible, but 7, 8, 9, and 14 we'll get the gate arms certainly within the next year, if not sooner. And so we're looking at 10 and 11 for a potential merger of gates. Again, that's a little bit up in the air. I think there's a lot of good reasons to do it. In particular, you save on the investment of the gate arms initially of a couple $100,000, and then there's maybe $200,000 to $250,000 a year in annual staffing savings. So there's a lot of economic reasons to merge those gates, and so we're looking at that very closely. Gate 12 is kind of not a residential gate, but a lot of people from Third access that, and it's a very complicated proposition. The house has to be removed, trees have to be removed, it has to be set back. The geometrics of the entry in the road have to change a little bit. And so it's a more complicated project, which we're going to design next year and construct in 19. So that's the plan there. Actually, that's a plan really for both 12 and 10 and 11. In the very, very immediate future, I mean the next week or two, you'll see, I don't know which one they're starting with, but they're the one at a time. Gates 8 and 9, the gate houses will be refurbished. They have a lot of dry rot and other problems. We need to add LED lights there, probably a tankless water heater. You know, we have to have a full restroom there for our resident employees. There's just a lot of problems with those old gate houses. They haven't been worked on in a long time. So you'll start seeing that real quick. We have a little temporary gatehouse we bring in and put in front of it, and so it won't hurt your access or change your life any, but it'll certainly make it better for our gate ambassadors who are residents as well. So I'm looking forward to that. I was out at I guess they call it RV Lot B yesterday. And I didn't mean to stop, but I saw the big crane there. So I pulled in, and sure enough, they were placing the new satellite antenna for our cable TV system onto its foundation. So we're pretty anxious with some of the other improvements that Chuck and his team have made to the cable system and internet. And now we're adding this, and there's several other projects. We anticipate, certainly by January, you're going to have a whole different television experience, and you already should have a better internet experience. The GRF board approved a new contract with West Coast Internet, which, and Marcy hit on it, allows for the tripling of your internet speed at basically the same cost. Now, part of the trick there is you have to have the right modem. So if you don't have a DOCSIS 3 modem, you're probably not going to be able to get the super fast speeds. And West Coast has offered to provide those at no cost to our residents. And so if you think you should be getting a little more speed and you're not, call West Coast. They know what kind of modem you have. And if you don't have the right one, they'll come out and switch it out for you and get you the speed you need.
For free?
For free.
Modem and
Yeah,
modem and installation.
free.
Okay.
Free. Except for a small delivery charge. No, I'm just kidding. There's no smaller. It's free.
That's what I was waiting for, you know, and there's tax on this.
Yeah, no, and so we're very excited about that. And then we have some other kind of projects that are coming behind this, which will even improve internet and cable service further. So for those of you at the budget meeting yesterday, you heard Chuck talk a little bit about the big maintenance that's required in our cable system. It's an old system. It hasn't had a lot of maintenance, and so there are a lot of nodes and vaults, and I think over 4,000 boxes that serve the manors that are really 40 years old. They have to be updated. It's a long-term, multi-million-dollar effort, but we need to get started. And so we're looking at a plan to bring that forward, not this year, but next year. I mean, if we have problems, we'll fix them. We're gonna hit the vaults and the nodes, but the boxes, that's gonna be a long-term maintenance program. But I'm anticipating that irrespective of that, your service is gonna be a heck of a lot better real soon. And so we're very excited about that. We had, no one's noticed yet because we've done a good job of hiding it. We had a little problem with our tub grinder, and so we haven't been able to grind up any of the tree trimmings or the clippings or any of that for about 4 or 5 months while we arm wrestled with state regulatory agencies over our program. And so we're able to start grinding again earlier this week. So I was getting a little concerned because if you drove back down that road where the firewood is and took a look, you would see a pretty big mountain of stuff. And so we've got a guy working on it now, and so rest assured you'll have the mulch you need when you need it and where you need it. But it was a little bit scary. I did notice how much firewood we have down there. There's a bin there that has firewood in it, and then if you go down further, there's the big firewood storage area. So I know it's probably not the right time of year to think about this, but please come and get some firewood, and it's free too. Free firewood.
But we're not allowed to burn anywhere. So
Then, no, that's why we have so much firewood now.
perhaps
Well,
you
people
should-
come and pick it up.
I think they still allow you to do barbecues in the fire pits down at Huntington Beach.
You think
So
that's
if
where
if
it's
you're going
going?
on a beach trip, you might
Well,
want to get some.
we do have people that pull in and pick it up quite
Well,
frequently, but I
maybe-
notice it's starting to stack up a little
Maybe
bit.
they're selling it, but we don't have any places that we could use firewood, so let's not have any false information out there.
Okay, well, I know residents come and pick it up quite frequently, and it's placed out for them. So they may be taking it to their cabin in a Big Bear, I don't know. Interesting. Well, maybe we need to start a small business on the side selling firewood.
Probably you can give it to Chuck to do. He does everything else.
Sure, why not? We have a lot of paving going on right now, and it's not just slurry seal. We're doing a lot of grinding and resurfacing work, and particularly cul-de-sacs 221 and 222. We have some pretty big stuff going on there. I think we ground it last week, and we'll start paving later this week, maybe next week. So you can anticipate that. We do have, as many of you are aware, the billiards room at Clubhouse 5 is being transitioned into more of a fitness room. And so we'll be sending out a questionnaire to residents, kind of getting a sense of what kind of classes they'd like to have there. You know, yoga, Pilates, cycle, and so just to get some input from you before we embark with recreation on a new program offering there. So I think that'll be good for Third residents, because really everything is down the hill. And so we're trying to offer more at Clubhouse 5, like the fitness room that we have there, and now this exercise room will be a nice addition as well. Talked about the budget a little bit. I think that's coming along quite nicely. I think that residents will be happy with the program changes we've offered. I know in Third, the board spent a lot of time looking at dry rot and looking at garden villas and how we can improve service there. I think we've come up with some pretty good ideas on that, and the board's been very supportive. So I'm comfortable that we're gonna get a lot done next year. I wanted to chat a little bit about waste management because we've been having so many problems, particularly with residents putting a lot of bulky items out by the bins, and then waste management won't pick them up unless they're put out with the third Saturday of the month. And so if you put things out other than the third Saturday of the month, then I've got to send a crew around to pick them up, when really that's waste management's job. And so we need to make sure that it's the third Saturday of the month, or even better, just call them up and they'll come and take the items right from your manor. You get 2 calls a year. We're disputing that with them a little bit. We think you might get more than 2, but we'll see how that shakes out.
And
But,
what number do people call?
you know, we have them just call resident services right now,
Okay.
and we'll link them up.
Okay. so
Yes.
Residents, yeah, because
Yeah.
we weren't sure about that. So if somebody wants something picked up, rather than put it outside where it'll just sit or
Yes,
whatever.
just call resident services.
services.
I would give you the waste management number. I don't know it for one thing, and then they don't answer the phone for the other thing.
Right,
So if you call us, we'll make the arrangement for you.
Okay, thank you.
Because we are in a bit of a dispute with them right now over a number of things. We hope that the city will intercede on our behalf, since it's their franchisee and not ours. We're kind of stuck with this company. We didn't select them. So hopefully we'll work all that out. And I'm going to, on Dwelling Live, we're going to get another pitch out. It's picking up, it's slow, but it's building momentum. And so we have a goal. Chuck is well below his goal so far. What are you going to do about that, Chuck?
We're gonna send out another blast on Friday.
There you go. So I think we wanted to get we have 360,000 calls a year, so we thought if we could get 100,000 of those automated, through Dwelling Live, that would be a great efficiency measure, and really allow resident services to have a little breathing room to take on some of these other functions that we want to like emergency dispatch and transit, and I mean, even quite frankly, if you're doing it right, they'd be doing recreation reservations as well. You'd have it all go there and free up, you know, those folks to do other things. So one step at a time. We're not quite one call does it all now. We're about 5 calls does it all, maybe. But we're getting there. It used to be 10. So we're very excited. And then last, I am told that this Everly Brothers event this weekend, that it's just about sold out. I think we have 100 tickets left. So if you're thinking you're going to go to the door and get a ticket, you're not. If you want to see that event this weekend, you need to probably get your tickets in advance. So just let you know. Anyway, that's what I have. I'd be happy to answer any questions the board may have.
Okay, and I'll hold my questions until, I'll hold my questions until the board members who want to ask you questions go. And the first one up is James.
Yes, Brad, you know, in order to reduce number of call to resident services, you know, I've been advised all the residents, okay, write email resident services at vmcinc.org. Okay, they did. But however, there's some room to improve that procedure because they instantly get, I sent a couple of times, we instantly get the responses, okay, we received your request. And we'll take care of it in 24 to 48 hours. That's not true at all. Now, the problem is, then the resident never heard from our resident services. Now, for example, one of my friends made a request for a refund and, you know, a dried up procedure. She sent in 2 months ago, never heard about it. So I really encourage you to improve the procedure instead of 24 to 48 hours. Maybe write something more realistic. Say, staff will take care of it, and blah, blah, blah. Say something more encouraging rather than instant, then disbanded. We never heard from them.
Yeah, I suspect it depends on the nature of the request. That system is not automated at all. It actually is probably more cumbersome for us than if you call, because somebody, you know, you just have somebody calling through there and trying to write the tickets up. But nonetheless, there's great room for improvement. If you can give me some names and manor numbers, we can go back and re-engineer those and see what happens. Again, as we look back on these, there's a lot of things that happen, but many times it's the nature of the request is just a long-term sort of deal, but they should be contacted again.
Yeah, well, because it turned out, so you voice some calls to resident services. However, our directors, we get the call, follow-up calls. It's I made a request, but we never heard from them. So I had to call or write email to say, hey, follow up, please.
Well, what we do when we get those kind of complaints, usually we don't get many emails, it's really phone calls. We pull up the phone call and we listen to the phone call in which the request was made, and then we try to engineer backwards from there. So that's what we do. A lot of different reasons those things happen. They're all a little bit different, but we try to adjust our training protocols and our service initiatives to reflect the experience that residents have, and good and bad. If they really like something, we try to replicate it. You know, if we screwed something up, then we try to not do that again. And Chris is pretty mindful about all that. But the biggest thing we need to do, and again, it's another Chuck, is we need to get our CRM in place so we have a much more stable system that is not paper-based like our current system. Because anytime you interject a few million pieces of paper into a process, you're going to have a lot of mistakes, and that is indeed what happens. So we try to clean it up as best we can, but a new modern customer relationship system is what's required here. And I don't know how far we are. Chuck, how are we doing on that?
Or it's in flight. We're investigating software. We're investigating different software packages, but we're being mindful of what the cost, the long-term cost or something like that will be. So we're doing some investigation research.
I had wanted to go with the dynamic CRM, and Chuck did some research, and I did a little research, and we decided that was, if we were building a space shuttle or something, that might work out pretty good. But we're not building the space shuttle here. We're fixing houses and doing landscaping, and so the cost and complexity of that was deemed just to be excessive. And I know we've sort of instituted a Dynamics financial platform, and so we thought, well, we'll just plug this thing in, but it turned out to be much more complicated than that. So I think we're looking at some other more cost-effective solutions that are scaled for our community and the kind of direct kind of customer service that we provide.
Yeah.
And so,
Yeah, well, so one final question is, so based on what you're saying, what are you suggesting to residents? What's the best way to contact? Is a phone call, write an email?
Phone
or
call.
Go to the.
right now, phone call.
Okay.
But that's the best way.
Well, okay.
But that will be changing when the CRM's in place, because they can just request a specific service electronically, and it'll go to the work center that's supposed to get it. Right now, you've got 2 or 3 middlemen in there who can make judgment errors about whether, is that painting Manor, painting, this or that, and send to the wrong work center, and then you get into those kind of problems. So I think when we have a more automated system that doesn't rely so much on paper, it'll be much more efficient. So I think the phone call is probably better now. Typically, where we get the emails are after hours for the most part, in the evenings. We have expanded the hours at resident services for phone service. It's 7 to 7 now, and then there is also a Saturday, I think, morning service there. Otherwise, you get security, and again, they're more concerned about security issues, obviously, because they're not really trained in property or resident services. They're security guys. They'll take a request, and if it's a plumbing problem or something like that, they'll be happy to address it. We've also added weekend plumbing crews as well. We used to just do that completely on call and rely on security to assess plumbing problems on the weekend, and we found that to be not very productive. And so now we have plumbing crews on Saturday and Sundays. They just do the normal work, and then if there's an emergency, they take care of it. And so we found that to be much better. Sometimes, when you rely on a security officer to assess whether a plumbing issue is an emergency or not, they maybe don't make the right judgment, and they're not trained to, and then you end up with something well, it's only one toilet that's clogged. You've got another one. We'll wait till Monday. Well, gee whiz, that was Saturday, and on Sunday the whole house was, flooded, backed up. And so we just want to avoid that. If you have a plumber here, they'll just take care of it. And so we think that's a better solution, and it really doesn't cost any more because we've just moved their shifts around. We're not working them an extra 16 hours a week or something. We're just having them work, Wednesday through Sunday. So it works pretty good.
All right, next board member up is Bill Walsh.
Yeah, Brad, you talked about phone calls to resident service being recorded. Are residents informed that they're being recorded?
I don't know if that's on there or not. Is it
recorded? Yes.
Yes, it is. Okay.
Okay, I haven't.
Yeah.
I'm using-
I think that's required.
Yes.
Okay, yeah, okay. I'm using Dwelling Live, but I don't make many calls, so I haven't come across that. Thank you. Just want to make a point that, again, about the bus service, and part of the reason I asked Marcy was there's going to be another big event over at Clubhouse 2 on the 29th, which is the Boomers Club is putting on Woodstock, and their emails have come out and said they want to use the bus service. So I'm assuming that that's going to be functioning well for the 29th.
It's a really big event, and I think we're going to have to step up and help them. Yeah.
Okay,
Yeah.
thank you.
I didn't talk much about transit, but obviously we've been on a program here to make that more efficient and to eliminate the empty buses traversing our community. And, part of that was reducing from 11 to 8 routes. And, weekends, as I said yesterday, are very quiet on the buses. And so we're gonna try a little more demand response on the weekends. So I look forward to a lot of transit changes in the community that will make it much more efficient, save residents on their assessments, and make it a more pleasant experience for the riders. I think right now we've got the worst of all worlds. You know, they're long routes, they're uncomfortable buses, they cost a lot of money, they spew noxious emissions in our community. There's nothing to like about it, other than our bus drivers. I like our bus drivers. You get beyond that, though, and it's pretty tricky. But we're making changes. Because we accepted the buses free, basically from the federal government, we are compelled to keep using them for a while. So we have to be mindful about the gifts we accept in the future. And so I think we're down. We have 16 buses. We must use 10 this year. And so over the next couple of years, that number gets lower and lower and lower until finally you can get rid of them all and get better vehicles that are more comfortable, more efficient, require less maintenance, and are better for the environment. So there's a win-win-win. It's just the whole win-win-win is out a year or two.
Okay, next director up is Annette. Or has it been so long you forgot what you wanted to say?
This is concerning the transition in resident services. I was going to say, when I did a walk.
Is your mic on?
Thank you. This is concerning the transition in resident services that's going on. I walked up to the window, and I had an issue at my house on moisture intrusion, and I was able to, with my smartphone, just send it to the resident, thank you, send it to the resident services email address so she could print that out. So then I just casually asked if this was going to go up to the moisture intrusion people to look at it, and she said, no, we're not there yet. But when the gentleman did show up at my home, I really appreciated the fact that he had a smartphone, and he took his own pictures. And so I just realized that with the transition, you know, it is happening and it is, you know, it is noticed.
I'm glad you brought that up because I was very delinquent in not mentioning that. We just issued 27 smartphones to all the leads and supervisors in the field. One of the big problems we've had here for years is if you call resident services and say, where's that plumber that was supposed to be here between 10 and 2, it's 3 and they're not here, and they really didn't have any way to find out. And so now with the smartphones, they can reach out and say, hey, what are you doing? Well, I'm working on this problem here. Tell them I'll be there at 3:30, and so we can track things a lot better. Also, all this back and forth to the office all the time is eliminated. They can, if a plumber in the field has a complicated situation, they can take a picture of it, email it to the manager back in the office, say, what do you want me to do with this? And you can get direction, or we can dispatch parts, we can, all that sort of thing much more efficiently. It's really a new day here with respect to that. And when we tie that in with the new CRM, there's no reason why you wouldn't enter a plumbing request and it just to somebody out in the field who's right down the road. And so I think there's huge opportunities for efficiency. Getting there will be a little tricky, but that was a really big step. And Chuck has arranged this in a fashion that's very cost effective. I mean, you think about how much your smartphone costs every month, and you're like, oh, 27 of them, my God. But they're kind of all on one circuit. They're blocked from everything except work. So there's no internet access. There's no this and that. They check them in and check them out at the end of the day, just like their other equipment. So it's very efficient and very accountable.
I went ahead, as a matter of fact, on that particular call at 9, he's supposed to be there between 9 and 10. So at 9, I called resident services, and they patched me up to where he was. And I spoke to him, and he said, I'm still at the desk, and I'll be there in about 20 minutes, I'll da-da-da. And I was like, I couldn't ask for better than that.
Yeah, no, that is the ideal. Now, when everybody gets that, my work will be done here. So I don't know.
And I did not
plenty of
identify.
I have a little time left.
I did not identify that I was on the board, so just to let you know.
I want to go back to what James said. Years ago, when we first came up with this resident services at what used to be at PCM, they came up with that because some of us just refused to call because of the caliber of the people who answered the phone. You could have a nervous breakdown while you were trying to make a call. So, and some people were just so used to using email, I being one of them. The thing is that for some people, depending on your schedule, being able to send an email is the most effective thing. You know, it's on Saturday, you're walking around, you see there's a light bulb out. And you could just send a quick email to resident services and say, light bulb out at blah, blah, blah. Because you really can't call. I mean, because you don't know if the phone is going to be overloaded. You certainly don't want to call security. So I think that while you're waiting for the new system, which I'm sure will be a wonderful drop-down, you know, do blah, blah, blah system, it can be improved just a bit.
Oh, clearly.
And that's it, you know, and I totally support what James says, you know, it has this message, you never know if anybody heard about it. And it does, and it works, you know, you could find something wrong with the trash door. They're more, I think that for a lot of us, they're just general maintenance things for the community that you come up on, and you really don't want to call Monday morning. And I think it's actually better that you're not calling for those kind of things, because the operators are busy. So if that could be improved upon a bit, that would be a good thing while we're still waiting for the other, because that was part of your interview thing, I remember. And that we were going to get that automated, and it still isn't, so we're waiting. But if that could be improved, we would appreciate it. And you mentioned one other thing about and maybe I didn't hear you, the number of boxes that we have that are outdated. Well, you don't have a box unless you pay for a box, right?
No, you're talking about a set-top box. These
Set.
boxes are attached to the building, or they're standalone, that basically are the junction for the cables
Oh,
going
okay,
out to the
so I don't
manors.
have one in my home.
No,
It's
you'd
the
have, might be
building.
outside.
I was going to say, because goodness, you know, all right, so those are the ones that
I think
we're
a
talking
garden
about.
villa might have 3 or 4 of them. Yeah, you'd have a collection of them down there.
Okay,
where
so they're really part of the structure, you know.
they're part of the problem.
Yeah, okay.
Now, we fix them, when people call and they say, gee, I've got tiling, or I've got this or that, the first thing they check is to make sure inside's okay, then they go right to that box, and usually they find the problem there, which is a rusted connection or something, and then they make the repair. So those get repaired as people call and complain, but what you really need is a proactive maintenance program that's going out checking those all the time, so you don't have to make a call and be irritated, you know, while your TV is not functioning properly.
You know, that's really interesting, because for those of us who have had problems with our television, whether it's the picture or the sound or whatever, in the past, someone might show up from staff and they'd say, nice people, and they'd say, everybody has this problem. I don't know what they're going to do about it. And that's what they used to say. And maybe they never looked at the boxes. Because I'm going back a few years. So I didn't even know they had those boxes, so.
Well, I think it's a collection. Now, we're kind of narrowing down because we've got the new satellite going in. We've added new equipment in the head-in building. And now we're looking at the nodes and the vaults. So you're kind of left now to the home and the box, you know, and so the search is narrowing, and whenever we have complaints, it should be much easier for us to resolve those.
Well, we really appreciate all of the work that Chuck is doing, because things are getting better. We did ask.
When he's sober, he does a very good job.
We did ask both him and Heather, because I've had requests from the residents about looking at the TV listing brochure that we have. And is there any way, by the time the brochure is received by many people, the first week of our television programs is over? And was there any way for you to say, and coming up next, you know, just the first one, because because that's a really exciting thing, the free movies that we have. And unless you do it on your own, and because a lot of people don't even know where to find those brochures, which we talked about at our last meeting. So I think that someday when you have time, you could make that brochure a little bit more effective.
Well, our goal is to eliminate that brochure.
Oh, good.
We don't like that brochure, and it's not very descriptive. It just has a name there, and you wouldn't necessarily know what's there. And that is really for people who like to plug their TV directly into the cable with nothing in between. And that is going to be kind of outdated when we reduce analog. You're going to need something there, because most of the data on these channels is encrypted, and so you won't be able to get a whole lot by plugging your TV directly into the cable. So you need a device, and that device, and some of them are very cheap, $5-6 a month. And that device will give you many, many more channels, all decrypted, and have a nice guide in there that is all automatic and stuff like you would, where you can click on it and take you to a channel and all that.
Okay.
So that's what we're shooting for, something really, really nice that has all that on-demand services, a lot of good stuff.
Okay, well then, thank you. Oh, wait, okay.
So-
Excuse me, your name isn't on here.
Oh,
I have to follow this. Bill Walsh is back up.
Chuck, this is actually a question, or a technical question for you regarding those cable junction boxes. Is that where the fiber optic comes into that box and then it's coaxial from the box to our units?
That's correct. The fiber goes to the nodes outside your home. They're like about a 3-foot tall gray utility box, and from there it's copper. It's a coax cable into the home.
Okay.
And what we're finding is the corrosive material builds up over time on all the connectors in those junction boxes, and so we have to periodically go out there and repair them. The old way would be to go out there. If you get a service call for an individual unit, you only repair the connection for that individual unit. We've changed our practices to such that when you go out there and you open up a box, you fix them all while you're there to try preventing the phone call. So we're already taking preventive measures, but with the day-to-day operations of our cable technicians, we need to have a separate crew to have a fully proactive measure to make sure that work's getting done.
Great, thank you.
Okay, go ahead. Go ahead, Bert.
Brad, I'm interested in this connection you talked about. Should all the residents get it? You said
Well,
from the cable TV?
Yeah, it's not compelled now because we're still providing a fairly robust analog menu, so you can just put the cable directly into the TV. But even if you have a digital TV, HD TV, and you shove the cable directly into it, you're still mostly getting an analog response because most of those channels are encrypted, and you need a device to decrypt them. And
So
so
how-
that's a box, some sort of box.
So
Yes.
how does one get that box?
What, you call resident services and talk to the cable folks there. Now, it's not required right now, and a lot of folks are perfectly happy with the quality and the quantity of what they're getting with a direct connection. But over time, less and less of that will be available in analog, and you'll be compelled to get something, even if it's, I don't know if we're gonna offer I think the cheapest box we have that would solve that problem and provide a digital guide is, I think, $725 a month. And the fact that I know that tells you there's something wrong with the management here. That's way too much detail. Yeah, that's the least expensive box you can get that'll decrypt all that, give you lots of channels, and provide a digital guide. And that's really what everybody's going to have, a minimum. Some people have a lot more. They want Showtime and HBO and this, that, and the other, and it's, $20. But the minimum box that gives you the most of what you want is $7, $7.25. Yeah.
Okay, well, there are no more speakers or board members asking to speak, and we thank you very much, Brad and Chuck. So right now, we have our open forum, which is open to our members. There is some going back and forth on this, and I just would let you know, because we're very transparent, is some people, because it says our members, and a member is an owner. And in the past, we have and a renter is not a member and it's not an owner. And in technicality, we're not supposed to have renters coming up or salespeople coming up, whatever. On the other side, some of our renters are extremely, extremely valuable to our community, and they have wonderful ideas. So our board is going to be discussing that today in our closed session because it fits in there, and we might be changing ours to change that word because everybody's opinion and ideas and thoughts are very valuable to us to make us better. So just to let you know, if you have anything that has to do with legal issues, we will not be able to respond to you because if it has legal issues, it will go, our attorney will be dealing with your attorney, so you might speak, but we can't respond. And I do please ask, because I recognize some of the people in the room, that when you come up, try to be courteous to the board. Remember, we're here volunteering to try to take care of you, and a lot of them work really hard. This is like a job. So at that point, please give your name and manor number.
Good morning. My name is Myrna Shannon. I live at 2390 Via Mariposa West, Unit 1F. And I'm here, well, I should say, for the last 14 years, I have been part of a group of ladies who have worked very diligently to supply back-to-school supplies and backpacks for the abused and neglected children in Orange County through the CASA system. CASA is the court-appointed special advocates. And our picnic is going to be on August the 5th, and I'm here to invite anybody here who would like to join us on Friday, August the 4th, from 9 in the morning till 10:30, to come and observe how we fill these backpacks. We have young children or high school kids from a group called Lionheart who do their volunteer work. They help us fill the backpacks, and it's an amazing thing to see how fast they work and how we put this together in a fashion that is just unbelievable to watch. So we'd like to see you come. It's in our recreation room at 2390, and from 9 to 10:30, we'd like to have you come and see us, see our storage facilities. We've worked very hard for so long, and we'd love to have you come and join us. Thank you.
So the date and time again is?
It's August the 4th, Friday, August the 4th, from 9 to 10:30.
And the location is?
Is the 2390 Via Mariposa in the recreation room,
Okay.
in the garage. Thank you.
And you say you work with CASA?
Yes, we do.
Do most people here know what CASA is?
CASA is an organization called, it stands for Court Appointed Special Advocates, and they have mentors for these neglected and abused children in Orange County. And we work with them. They put on a picnic for the children every year, and we go to the picnic, a few of us, and the kids come. The first thing they do when they come to the picnic is they run to our table to get their backpacks. They are so excited because they know that they get a free backpack and all brand-new school supplies. So they're really delighted. And this is something special that we're able to do for them, and we really like to do it. Thank you.
Thank you very much for advising us. Ed, is this your part of this?
I'm sorry? Did you ask me
No,
something?
the person behind you who's
Oh.
nodding his head. I believe he's part of this also.
Yes, he certainly is.
Okay, thank you. Okay, thank you very much. Your name and manor number, please.
Yes, good morning. My name is Dr. Harvey Lester, of 5212 Elvira. I retired from my position as an NFL team doctor to enjoy life in Laguna Woods with my wonderful wife. Unfortunately, that dream has turned into a nightmare. Why are we here again? We were here last meeting. After the nearly 7 months of waiting for the board to allow us to move forward with a remodel plan that was approved in February and then again in March, we are still waiting based on advice you were receiving from your lawyer, Sandra Gottlieb. This must be true because it was only after she was involved that the approval process stopped for us, while 7 other applicants for changes in the common area have received a signed covenant to proceed. Have you asked yourselves why your attorney would be advising you that only the Lesters in the history of Third Mutual need a unique covenant to protect the interests of their neighbors who claim that we are a potential, quote, nuisance to them, even before we occupy the house? Bear in mind that Sandra Gottlieb and Janet Powers are both named partners in HOA law firms. Sandra Gottlieb and Janet Powers have had a professional and friendly relationship for a long time. Here is evidence that while she was working to protect the Powers' interests in our application process, she was also co-presenting a professionally related seminar at a law expo with Janet Powers just recently. This is a sign that was part of the seminar. It says, New California Case Law, presented by Sandra L. Gottlieb and Janet Powers. This was just a few months ago while we were fighting for this right to occupy our home. After being told we couldn't walk on the grass, we couldn't do all the other things, have a door out, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. It's incredulous that you would be relying on advice regarding this matter from someone so connected to the complaining neighbors, Janet and Christopher Powers. She should have recused herself from the outset, even if you knew or didn't know this connection. In all fairness to us, as members of this Third Mutual as well. We were told that you gave Ms. Gottlieb a deadline of today at noon to accomplish this. In listening to her advice, please take into consideration the friendly relationship she has with Janet Powers.
30 seconds left.
After an outrageous 7-month delay, it is now your responsibility to us and to the members of the Third Mutual to do the right thing and sign our agreement and let us get on with our lives.
Thank you very much, Mr. Lester. Your name and manor number, please.
Stephen Dworet, 3071D. And I know you have on the agenda atrium enclosures to discuss later, but I wanted to revisit my situation because I feel it'll be informative for the community. As you know, I appeared in May, and I showed everybody what my atrium looked like before the enclosure was begun on the other side of my atrium wall. It was open and airy, and this is why I bought my unit. I love the light coming in and the beauty of it. When I found out what was going on, there was no notification whatsoever until I heard loud banging on the other side of the wall. When I found out what was going on, I went to the compliance department, and they assured me that nothing would happen above the 8-foot atrium wall. That was told to me by the compliance department. I issued a letter to my neighbors telling them I would not accept anything above my atrium wall. And then I left on a trip. I came back, and this is what I found. The block above the wall, and I've showed this picture in May. What I haven't shown is what it looks like today. Now that block is covered with a tarp. So this is what I have to look at every day, a green tarp. And it's very frustrating. And I know, Brad, you've been working on this, and I know you've got other things you're working on, but I don't know the status. I don't know what the current status is. I've written my letters. I've met with my neighbors. I've met with my neighbor's real estate agent. I've met with you twice. I've been to the the architectural control committee. I don't know what else to do. It's very frustrating. Thank you.
Thank you very much. And please be assured, because we have discussed it, and we will get this settled. We will.
Thank you.
Good morning. Your name and manor
Good
number,
morning.
please.
Dave Current, 5584A. I wrote a letter to the Globe editor dated July 14. It was too late to be published this week. I'd like to read it. The common area use policy the Third Mutual Board of Directors is about to adopt is patently unfair. It is unfair to both new residents and residents of long-standing who wish to improve their property through alteration variance requests which include use of common area land, which is generally inaccessible and not of general use to the community as a whole. These common area transfers are usually very small parcels to be included in patio and/or room extensions which do not infringe on any of the community's general use property. For nearly 50 years, residents have been allowed to make improvements, which often included transfers of small parcels of property not of general use to the community. Now the board is about to place an extremely burdensome requirement on new variance applicants to get 2/3 of the members of their particular mutual to vote to approve any transfers of common area property. The average mutual is estimated to consist of 300 to 500 manors, and to require a variance applicant to get the approval of 200 to 335 manors would appear to be nearly impossible. I believe the board should take a common sense approach, which would be to allow transfers of common area property to variance applicants on a case-by-case basis based on the specifics of each request. The common sense approach would be more reasonable and equitable without unfairly restricting those residents who wish to improve their property as other residents have been able to do in the past. While it is incumbent upon the board to tightly control common area transfers, I believe it should continue to allow them when they are reasonable and on parity with previously granted legal transfers, which did not carry the burden of 2/3 of manor consent. Signed, Dave Current, 5584A. Thank you.
Mr. Curran.
Good morning. Some of you are old friends. Some are new to me. I'm
And
Carol
some just look
Skydale,
old.
3070B, Via Serena North,
Carol Skydell.
Skydell.
Carol?
I'm here to deal with a procedural error, and I'm kind of handicapped because it is part of the consent calendar, which is being postponed for 30 days. The problem is in 11E, the policy requiring owners of certain manors to follow the variance process. You mentioned two manors. This is regarding doing an atrium enclosure. You mentioned, or the article mentions, a Cordoba, a Valencia, but not a Villanova, which is part of Third Mutual. So we need to correct that. It could be a Scribner's error. I'm sure it was not intentional on anybody's part. Do I make sense, Rosie?
Oh, yeah, you do. I was going to say, you're not supposed to be coming up there to discuss something that's on the agenda, but the thing is we know that that's not really true because there's but in any case, I'm glad you brought that up. And if somebody brings up something that's on the consent calendar, we should probably move it over to discussion, if that's okay with the board, so we don't just blow through this. And
I'm not following you. Is this not sufficient?
well, I know, it's sufficient for you to say what you had to say.
Good.
And so thank you.
Thank you for helping. I assume it will be changed.
I assume that,
It's obviously a Scribner's error.
and if it is, Bert and Bert won't let us get away with it.
Good. Both Berts are trustworthy.
Got that, Bert? Okay.
I gotta
Okay.
get situated first. I have several documents that I want to present to you.
A name and manor number, please.
I will start now, so don't start my thing
I'm just gonna
till
type it
get
in. I won't
ready.
start your timer.
Corky Ely, 2401 2E Mariposa West. I've been a longtime resident, and I've been before this board several times. And today, I'm here because of what has happened. We have not voted on anything, not for self-management. We do not get an overall budget of Leisure World. We haven't for over 20 years. And you're still not going by the governing documents. You're coming up with the bylaws. And you know better than I do that the bylaws are not the governing documents. This is the trust. This is the one part of the trust that none of you have ever looked at, I don't think. I separated the trust into 4 different parts. And the one part that it comes up where it says you should, it is the terms of the trust, and it changed in April 6, 1964. And what it says not less than 60 days prior to the beginning of each fiscal year, GRF shall prepare an operational budget, managing budget improvement, and provide the other aforesaid services desired for ensuring year and shall cause copies of same to be delivered to the members of the cooperatives. And you know, and I know, that third is one of them. This came out, and it had here organizational chart. It had the trustor was the 3 housing mutuals, including Mutual 50. I bought the latest book from this place, and lo and behold, Mutual 50 was not on here. And down here it says Village Management Service, which none of us voted on, is owned by United, Third, and 50.
30 seconds.
How did you buy it? How did you own it? We are in Third. We never saw any of this. We never voted on any of this. And when the budget came out, I have copies of the budget. When the budget came out, lo and behold, instead of the trust having everything in the trust, which it should be.
Corky, your time is up.
Of course, it is always up. I know that because none of you people want to.
Okay, turn the microphone.
All of these. This is my this document.
Can I help you?
This document. And the not that.
I know.
You're
Chris Collins, 3306Q. I'm here representing Laguna Woods Village Foundation, and I want to give you a little update.
We don't have her name or anything up there? Isn't, okay.
Say it again?
No, we want to make sure that you're timed for 3 minutes, so go ahead.
Oh, mine's short,
Kidding.
very short.
We're
Very
watching.
short, innocuous.
We're
just
all
little-
watching you. Okay, go ahead. Thank you, Chris.
So should I say my name again?
Yeah, and
Chris-
I'll give you the extra minute.
Oh, I don't need it. Thank you. 3306Q, Chris Collins. I'm here, I'm representing the Foundation of Laguna Woods. We of the Foundation of Laguna Woods Village want to thank all of the donors who made the Foundation Spring Appeal such a success. Your donations make the Foundation motto, Neighbors Helping Neighbors, a reality. The many thank you notes received by the Foundation underscore the importance of your donations and the temporary financial assistance provided by the Foundation to village residents. Here are several examples of gratitude written by resident recipients, and I quote, "After undergoing multiple hospital stays and confronted with overwhelming medical bills, one neighbor recently said, 'How fortunate we are to have an organization such as the Foundation that we can turn to for help with unexpected situations.' Another resident wrote, 'Once again, I'm very grateful for the help that the Foundation and the social services have given me for my own war on poverty. My income, other than Social Security, continues to shrink, and my health insurance, manor payments, care insurance, etc., continue to go up. So your help is indeed appreciated.' Another thing that the foundation has been able to do with some of these new donations is that we've launched a new library pilot program to offer additional assistance to visually impaired residents. We've provided funds to purchase 25 new books on tape, as well as new CD players for our village library. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Anyone else?
Marty Lopata, 2398B, 1B. I want to bring to the attention of the board and our esteemed director, Chief Executive Officer, we have I believe, a communication problem in interdepartment. So an example of what's going on right now, we're tearing up the street in the area by Clubhouse 4, gone down to gravel, and signs are posted, don't park, but no notice is posted anywhere in the process as to access to Clubhouse 4 or the timing of the streets. So a week passes between the time the gravel is taken out and the first tarring began yesterday. And so the signs say, no parking at 7 o'clock. At 6 o'clock in the morning, we received an email through GVA's direct, my wife is a building captain, through the GVA system and our area director, and said that at 6 o'clock in the morning, you will not be able to get out of your garages during this process. So the residents are not informed because there's no communication going on between resident services and security. At 6:30 in the morning, I called security, and I said, are we going to be able to get out of Clubhouse 4? And your security person said, I don't know, call member services. Members of services closed. So now people were locked in their garages and may have had to go, which I had to do. So I got my car out at 6 o'clock in the morning because I had a doctor's appointment. But I believe that there should be some greater communication between the repairs being scheduled and the ability to pass in and out of the units. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, so we have someone else coming up. Name and manner number, please.
Theodore Cumming, 40033D.
Could you repeat that, please, for me?
I'm an owner of that property, and
So
as you may-
she just asked you to repeat your name and your manor number. She has to.
Certainly, Theodore Cumming, 40033D. D as in David.
Okay.
Okay. I'm the owner of that property, and as you may be aware, we have a carport parking space. The carport buildings obviously could be remodeled into single garages, which would enhance not only the appearance of the area, but the value of the property. Now, I'm a newer owner, so this has probably been studied in the past, and what I'm asking for is if you could give me a copy of your past study and your conclusions at that time. Thank you. Somebody want a copy of this?
Name and manor number, please.
Yes, my name is Lynn Corbo. I currently own...
Could you say it again?
Lynn Corbo.
And manor number?
I currently own 3250 O, and I'm about to purchase another unit, 3505C, maybe. It really depends on what this board does about the land use policy. On Thursday morning this week at 8:30 in the morning, you are about to deny homeowners here an exception that the California law allows to be able to transfer some generally inaccessible and not of general use common areas to their own for use in alterations, especially patios. I have asked for your legal opinion at the Architectural Board meeting on July the 6th for why you are set to deny us this exception for the inaccessible and not generally usable, but I have not received anything. I saw the Village Breeze communication from your legal counsel, and she says in that, unless grant of such is one of the statutory exemptions under Civil Code 4600. Well, this is one of those exemptions, and yet you are set to deny that to us, and I want an explanation why, and I haven't been able to get one. Also, I don't understand, when I read through the resolution that you're about to pass on Thursday morning at 8:30 in the morning, there's the decision tree that is referred to 6 times in the document as containing the criteria for the very limited circumstances that would qualify for an exception is missing 6 times. There is no attached decision tree that explains that. In that document, in addition, there is no specific plans for what you're going to do to enable or help homeowners get 2/3 votes. And there's no evidence that it's possible. There's no specific plans that would help homeowners do that. And you were giving each, for example, giving each and every homeowner the names and addresses and phone numbers of all the owners of the manors that probably violate a lot of privacy laws.
26 seconds.
Okay. So, you're about to do great, significant economic harm to new residents and homeowners of residents that have not had a patio, that still have their original patios. I ask you to please to answer to respond. Where are the specific plans for 2/3 approval? Where is the legal opinion that denies us the inaccessible?
Your time is up.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. And is there anyone else? Okay. I asked our general manager this, why I went racing away from the area, to comment on because we are not responsible, we are not responsible for GRF. We work with GRF to comment on the comments about GRF and the budget, and that they're not, sending them out, et cetera. So I asked, and I know that that is not the facts, but I asked Brad as our CEO to respond to that before we ask the board to respond to the different things that have been brought up today. So Brad, could you please do that?
Thank you. As all board members are aware, we do an extensive mailing prior to the end of the year, at least 60 days prior to the end of the year, of all of the financial budgets and reserve accounts for GRF and all of the housing mutuals, except for 50. They do their own mailing through their own managing agent, which is not VMS. So it's a very expensive process. They're thick documents. They go out to thousands, thousands and thousands of residents, and hopefully they read them, though I'm not sure. When I used to get those from my HOA, I didn't necessarily go through them in a very thorough manner, but it is a very complete and thorough package. Costs a lot to mail, and it meets all of the legal requirements that we have under the Civil Code to provide that information to our members. I can assure you, Betty and her staff, as well as all the boards, take that responsibility and obligation very seriously, very seriously.
Okay, so thank you very much, Brad. I'm sorry. Also, there were things mentioned by Corky about about us not reading our documents and whatever, and I do find it very disconcerting for the entire board for us to be berated by her, but this does happen. As far as the company going away from PCM as a managing agent and having VMS as a managing agent, that was something that was determined by all of the boards, and the boards did this together. It wasn't one board decided it and the other ones didn't. It was a joint effort. And in that situation, it was done as the boards are elected by the community to represent them. And this is a management decision. It was our decision to get away from a company that we felt was, or we truly didn't even feel, because feel doesn't exist in business, that we knew was not managing us the way we should have been managed. And therefore, rather than go out and possibly hire another management company, and things were a bit rushed, we formed our own company and we recruited our own general manager. So nothing was done on the sly. Nothing was done secretly. There's no ownership papers that changed hands. So it just gets so exhausting, because all we want to do is try to put all of our effort into working with the staff that we have and the wonderful people, i.e. Chuck, that Brad has hired to make sure that we move this community forward and make up for years of neglect, which we all paid for. So I say that very seriously. So thank you for, I had to go race out there, grab Brad by the door and say, get back in here. So thank you very much, Brad. All right, so at this point, I would ask the board to respond to any of the items or the items that were brought up by the residents who came up. I do have one thing, and then I'm going to turn it over probably to Bert Muldow. As far as assistance to the residents to get approval, we have asked our general manager to have our resident services person, who is totally informed, Brad, are you listening to this? Because she didn't know, on how to handle residents and how to offer the best service to develop the manner in which the people at the alterations desk are dealing with the community, because we did not find it effective. We asked for it twice, and I asked Brad, and I also asked the head of the department, this is customer service, can we take care of this? And she assured me that it was going to be taken care of. So Brad, I'm reminding you of that. Because the people who work at the alterations desk are very diligent when it comes to alterations, but techniques of customer service might not be their specific training area. So we asked you for that. So is that coming along?
Yeah, actually it is, and we're instituting an appointment system there.
We know that, but
We're doing Lori is working on an integration with city services to make that more seamless and coordinated. Right now, those are a little bit disjointed, and you go here and you go there, and so we want to coordinate that. And then the other thing we're doing in resident services, not directly on point with your question, is going with a queuing system so residents don't have to stand in line waiting for their turn. So we'll be implementing that rather shortly. So you come in, give them your name, and boom, you sit down, and we'll call you when it's your turn. So a lot of things like that that are going on. That's going to be unrecognizable probably in the next 4 or 5 months. It's a complete changeover in the way we do business.
But what the complete changeover was needed, that we've asked for 2 months, is I am coming and asking for common area, and the people don't know what to say or how to work with the residents. And that's what we need, a professional approach on how to do this. And we cannot ask our staff, who are doing different things, to do that. And we feel that the message isn't clear and consistent and professional, and it just needs help, like immediately.
Well, I mean, the biggest part of that is for the board to take whatever action you're going to take, so the answer can be incredibly clear.
We know what the action is.
Yeah.
So, but the thing is people don't know how to get the votes. They don't know. There's just a lot of not knows. So that has to be taken care of. So.
No, I understand exactly what you're saying.
Okay. So thank you. All right, I'm going to turn this over to, I'm going to turn it over to Bert, even though Susan's name is up, because Bert will want to answer a lot, and then Susan, you'll be next. Well, your name is up here. Speaker, Susan. So can I turn it over to Bert first? All right.
I'd like to give a little background on land use. It all started when Mr. Lester had required a alteration which would have employed the use of common area, and There was an objection made by a neighbor, and actually that neighbor's lawyer presented himself to the board and threatened a lawsuit if we had proceeded to turn over that common area for use that Mr. Lester wanted. So therefore, we had to immediately turn to our lawyer. And apparently, there are other people that are also requesting common area usage, and it has been for 50 years, actually. Boards past have basically given over common area under circumstances, and we've had no problem. So here we were faced with this dilemma. And what was referenced in 4600, which is our civil code, basically paragraph 4600 B3E, and I'll read it to you because it's in here. This is an exception to the use of common area, okay? And in particular, it says, to transfer the burden of management and maintenance of any common area that is generally inaccessible and not of general use to the membership at large of the association. Now, boards in the past have, in my opinion, several have violated that specific paragraph. But I know of no specific violation that our board had taken during its reign. I personally believe that that exception is in there and is a valid exception, but our lawyer, okay, is counseling us and essentially is saying you should not turn over common area at all. By the way, this is a ruling that has also been in effect at United. They also put that in effect that no common area shall be turned over. So here we are. In my opinion, I would like to see it allowed so that we have some discretion in this matter. But we have a legal issue here, and we are subject to lawsuits according to our lawyer. I have a question that I want to address to our lawyer today, this afternoon, as a matter of fact. And the question I have basically is, why was that paragraph put into 4600 if we're not allowed? Okay, and we could suggest that the word criteria, by the way, on the decision tree was put in there because I had believed that we could legally protect ourselves if we could put in specific criteria upon which the judgment is being made. But apparently, at the moment, we're not there. And so we have no choice, okay? No choice, okay, but right now, to prohibit any current use of common area. Thank you.
Okay, so the next one, oh, so Susie's name is gone and Jules' name is up, and then Bert Baum's name is up. And is someone going to talk to Theodore regarding the parking? Think I forgot. 4003.
I have the document that I'll prepare, so I'll make sure that he gets it.
What, 4003?
Yes.
Okay, but let's make sure that we speak also, because that is one of the key, a very hot area as far as like, when I say hot area, it's an area that has very little parking and it is really a top area that's being looked at. Okay, so now Jules' name is off. And I think they are all playing games with this thing. So now, oh, all right, I think, because I don't, what happened to Susie?
She's on there now.
I withdrew it.
You withdrew? Okay, Jules, you're up.
My heart goes out to Dr. Lester and his wife.
We're not supposed to talk about legal issues, remember?
No, I'm not talking about a legal
Okay.
issue so much as a comment that he made, which indicated or questioned the good faith or whether there was a conflict of interest with our legal advisor, our lawyer. And while my heart goes out to him, I just wanted to make it clear on the record that there's really no justification for questioning the good faith or the intentions of our lawyer. There's no question in my mind that her advice is legitimate advice, There can be an argument as to whether it was the right advice or not, but that's another matter. That leads me to right into the question of variances that Director Moldow mentioned. The question there really is, what are the benefits and what are the liabilities, the negatives of this issue? The benefits are that it increases the value of our manors and it really doesn't harm anyone at all. The only negative is the possibility of legal liability. I agree with Director Moldow that I think it's a lousy choice because I think we should be allowed to grant variances. 4600 says it, and we should accept it. But the point I want to make only is that we really would like members' input, and however you feel, I encourage you to bombard us with your comments and do it quickly. Thank you.
I would like to remind the board, though, that this is something that we voted on. And when we vote on something, it is our responsibility to support the board. The one thing that we do know is we have to be open to the comments of the community. And because we have heard comments from the community, it is on our agenda this afternoon. So this is not something that we're saying, oh, it's done. We are talking to our attorney again this afternoon to review all of the questions that we have this afternoon. But as a board, we support the decision made by the board unless we can work with the board to change the decision. So, and that's why we're bringing it onto our agenda this afternoon. I wish the person who brought up the common sense approach, I love that thought. But unfortunately, what's common sense to one is not common sense to another. And that is the thing. It's common sense that some people have asked for and been granted 3 feet by 12 feet. And we go, oh my, how did that ever happen? So how do you decide as a board, okay, I could grant 2 feet, but I can't grant 4 feet? And I can grant 2 feet on each side, but I can't grant 4. And it's such a tremendous, tremendous problem, however you look at it. Well, if we granted that 2 feet, it's going to impact somebody's view or privacy. And it is just such a complicated thing, but it has been far too loose in this community. And some of the things that you look at are shocking. And that's why we're trying to work so hard on it. But we did agree that we had to follow the advice of our attorney to not allow the community to be involved in more lawsuits. But, we're still working with her, so please remember that. All right, so now the next person up is, did anybody change their mind? Bert Baum.
Thank you.
I want to talk about that issue too, because it is very important. The board did decide that we are not going to allow common area, and it was not a trivial decision. We thought and discussed it at length, and we discussed it with our attorney. And the point that hasn't been brought out is, if in fact we allow construction, alteration in the common area, we then open ourselves up for all sorts of legal complications. And let me tell you, once you go down that path, it is very expensive. And who winds up paying for it? The residents do. That money comes out of your assessments. So what we have is a responsibility to protect the whole community, to protect all the residents. Now we realize that some people are unhappy with that, and we can appreciate that. But we do have a provision in there that if your alteration is indicated on the original footprint of the manor, which you can determine. For instance, some manors never had a patio at all, but it was outlined in the print. They can build that patio, but it has to conform to that size. Now, the problem that you have is once you start granting alteration in the common area, where do you stop? Where do you decide that that is accessible or it can be used? And from our discussion with the lawyer, those sections are not as critical as the overall point of not allowing any common area. And that is why we decided to do that. So we realize it's causing some inconvenience, but we ask for your understanding. And the fact that it's been done in the past has no bearing now. This is our decision based on where we are now and what we think is in the best interest of the whole community going forward.
Okay, is there anyone else who has to speak on, okay, I'm sorry, I'm losing my mind. For the, for 4003, the parking situation, I know that that is one area where there's limited parking at all times. And we do have an entire study and parking plan. So if you could just meet with our director, John Frankel. John, could you raise your hand so he knows who you are? Contact John. We can get you a copy of our parking study. I know that Bert Moldau has some incredible ideas for that area too. They're sort of we're being reluctant about going in and asking the city for different kinds of permits, but there are, I think, 2 or 3 areas, and I won't name them, that are extremely, extremely problematic. I don't know where we are on the red line removal process, but Bert's going to tell us when it's his turn. So we know it's a situation. My sister actually lives on that street, and I always walk there because I would never think of driving because you could never park your car. So thank you for bringing it to your attention, and please get with Mr. Frankel. Does anybody have anything else that they, and Jules, thank you for bringing that up about our legal counsel, because as part of the different situations that we've had more than one accusation made by them about anti-Semitism. I mean, all the different kinds of accusations. Then we were anti-Hispanic. I mean, we've been accused of like everything because so I just think it's just a terrible situation that we're in, and we're going to have to figure out how to fix it. But so thank you for your concern and for your professionalism. All right, so now the next part.
Rosemary.
Oh, you sneaked it up there after
I
I was
did.
done.
I wanted to see how observant you were. No, I just wanted to thank Carol for bringing that forward about the Villanueva, and thank you very much. And then I wanted to ask Steve, I saw you talking with Brad. Did you get any satisfaction? So, do you have any idea? I mean, do you have any suggestions about how you're going to get?
I suggested that we meet. He spoke to the other neighbor, my neighbor, and they're willing to do something, but I don't know what that something is. So just stay.
So, I mean, rather than putting you off for another, is somebody going to actually take some action about contacting your?
What I was trying to do is set up a meeting, so we can look face to face and talk to each other.
Okay, who?
Because you're not, yeah, it is.
I've written letters, I've never gotten a response.
Okay, well, Lori Moss is here, and she's the community manager, and she works with Brad, and I could assure you that an appointment and a meeting will be set up very soon, like by the end of today.
I'm leaving this weekend for a week, and I'll be back here.
So that's why so if you could get with her before you walk out of the room, and we will set it up.
A correction, it's Villanova.
Oh, okay.
Villanueva is in the.
Villanueva was a baseball player, I think.
No,
Yeah.
Villanueva.
No. Right, okay, thank you.
Villanueva are the LH21s.
Oh, okay. Well,
You know what, that's Villanova.
it's a Villanova. Thank you. All right, thank you,
Okay,
Carol.
so please get with Lori and she could set that up. Lori, you want to? So, So the next thing on the agenda is the consent calendar. So do we have to do anything with that to make that little correction that Carol brought up, or
Is it on?
yeah, it was 11E.
Yeah, it is. Yeah, we have to write it in there. I think, would it be a Scribner's? Yeah, just an edit.
Okay, so you can vote to make a motion to approve the consent calendar with the edit to that one, because it's this thing. What do we do without you, Carol?
You may have to in a while, I'm getting pretty sloppy.
Okay, so can anyone restate the edit so that we have it done correctly? Okay, here we have, all right. Because we can't say, let's vote for it with the edit, and we don't know what the edit is.
Do you want to do, because it's part of the consent calendar, it's got to be done now, right?
Right, yeah.
Okay.
Carol, you want to race
Yeah, let me
right
just
back?
Get it for you.
You would think you would have brought a typed copy with you.
I scribbled.
Okay, you
it's
getting, Catherine, we're getting this? All right,
Resolution 3-17 XXX, and it relates to the policy. It's the third whereas. Whereas the proposed policy would require the owners of Cordoba, Valencia, and Villanova-style manners. And then the rest of that is fine.
okay,
Got it?
all right.
Thank
So
you.
I probably,
It's actually in two places, Carol. It's also in the now therefore be resolved. It should be in there also.
Wherever you find it,
Okay.
put it.
All
so,
right, thank you.
so forgive me, I did that backwards. Can I have a motion to approve the consent calendar?
I move.
As amended.
Okay, and we have a motion, do we have a second?
Second.
Okay, so then you need to move to amend it. Bill?
I move to amend that motion with the change in the wording on the variance requirements for common wall enclosures and atriums to include the Villanova
Okay.
in two lines.
So we have a motion to amend the consent calendar, and now we need a second? Okay, so we have a second. All those in favor of the consent calendar as amended? You supposed to use your vote button? Are there vote buttons up? There's no vote button. All right. Please forgive us. Oh, amended isn't spelled right. A-M-M.
I know, sorry. Didn't know you were gonna see that.
All right. So are we voting now? The motion was made by Bill, it was seconded by Steve. All right, all those in favor of approving the consent calendar with the amended? You have to, can
It's
they
your
vote
yes.
yet? Can they vote on their little thing yet?
Can you vote, please?
James, can you vote?
Oh, heavens, die hard.
You didn't vote.
He has no
Yeah,
vote.
just hit it again.
Yeah, it showed with a little bleep.
Can you tell me what it is? Because I don't see
Yes.
it. Okay,
3 times. 4
here you go. That might have been, you might have been turning it on and off.
Okay, so the motion passes. So now we have to go and do the vote on the original motion.
Right, because of the consent calendar.
Right, okay, so all of those in favor of the original motion? All right. But you have to vote on it?
Get a motion and we'll vote on it.
Yeah. We already made the motion.
We already made the motion. So now we have to vote.
Or you just voted, you just passed it.
No, that's for the amended, you're supposed to go back to the original motion.
Right, so it's two motions, yeah.
Right.
So we have to do another motion in order to vote.
Okay, so can we have another motion for the original motion? That sounds like, I sound like an insane
We're
person.
doing the motions of, variances, if I may have first here. A motion, say, somebody make a motion.
Oh, I make a motion, we accept as amended.
And then we get a second, please.
Okay, so now we can vote.
There you
Okay,
go.
it's there. I think that James has a screen that doesn't accept his finger.
If you hit it and then hit it again, it'll turn it off.
Okay,
It'll
so-
take your vote away. So just hit it only one time.
vote there? Is James's vote there?
Yes, it is. I'm
Okay.
missing one from Susan.
Susan. Oh, Susan isn't here, so, okay. All right, so the motion passes. So now we will go to unfinished business, which is a review of the 2017 election calendar. Yes, oh, please, I'm going to ask Bert to say a few words. Bert Bow.
Okay, this is agenda item 12A, and it lists the dates for the election. First, we want to encourage people to vote, and we want to encourage people to run. And I'll highlight certain or discuss certain dates. There's the record date for voting, so you have to be a member in good standing by June 30th to vote. And if you want to run, you can go to the second floor, speak to Catherine Laster, who's right here, and ask her for a, I guess it's an application for a nomination. And she will give that to you. And the nominations close on the 16th of August at 5 p.m. Now, your ballots are mailed to you as voters. Every member gets a ballot. So for each manor, there is one ballot. And you can return them by mail. But it is important that everyone vote. And many people don't even realize that they get the ballot by mail, and often they throw it out with the junk mail. It's not junk mail, it's important, and it's important that we all vote.
And Bert, it's also online.
I'm sorry?
The applications are also online.
Okay, good point. Laurie points out that the applications are online for running. So your ballot is mailed on the 28th of August, and you have about a month to return it. They're due back by the 27th of September. Now, we have a Meet the Candidates session for the third board, and that's going to be the 22nd of August, and it will be held here in the boardroom.
I think it's at 10 a.m. You're correct.
Yes, okay, thank you. Now, we have something new here that we haven't had before, and that is to give everyone, every candidate a chance to be equally exposed to the community. They're able to film a video. It's a fun.
At no charge, right?
At no charge, and it's done through our video department here on the third floor. And it's 5 minutes. I think you're asked one question and asked to answer that. So this gives all the candidates an equal chance to be presented to the community, and that a video is shown more than once. So we ask you certainly to take advantage of that. And the counting of the ballots is the 29th of September. And then we have an organization meeting right after on the annual meeting date, which is October 5th. And that's also held here in the boardroom at 9:30. So we want everyone to participate in this process, please. Thank you.
So, counting ballots is going to be in the boardroom also? Yes. That's important. And the other thing is somebody going to work with people who are running for the money to I know when Brad interviewed here, he had to do a video, and he was pretty good at it. But the thing is that it's to do a 5-minute video. It could be challenging. So, do you have a prep team?
Well, this is coming from the GRF Media Committee, and Joan Middleman is taking care of it.
So if somebody wants to run for the board, they could get an application online, or they could go see Catherine. When they see Catherine and they hopefully fill out the application and bring it back, though I always tell her, if somebody picked up an application, get their phone number, just in case they don't bring it back, you could call them and say, where is it? Because sometimes people pick up an application and they don't bring it back. But, and then they could say to and then Catherine could brief them on this, these are all, if you have any questions on the dates, and this is who to call if you want help on meet the candidates, or this is who to, well, because we offer assistance on the candidate statement, the ballot information, everything, correct?
Yes.
All right. My mic's on. Oh, I know. The next, Bert, do you have anything else to say? You're listed as a speaker. Are you done? Oh, it says Moldau. It must be my eyesight. Yes, Bert.
Yeah, I think it is important. We're asking people to vote. It's been a very poor turnout historically. But just to get a ballot and look at somebody's name is inadequate. You're going to get with that ballot resume of the people that are running. But there's more opportunities for you to meet these candidates, okay, by watching the TV, TV6, and I believe, correct me if I'm wrong, that their presentations will be put up on YouTube. Is that correct?
Lori?
I'm sorry?
Their presentations will be put up on YouTube.
Yes.
Okay, and that's important for people that do not reside in the community and do not have access to Channel 6.
Right.
So we're trying to do whatever we can to get you information on the candidates so that you can make a choice.
And even meet the candidates, that's an opportunity to come to the meeting, and if you have any questions, because we always take questions from the residents, and the questions go up to go to the panel. So I don't know how many people we have. Do you have any applications so far, Catherine?
And no one's returned it for their, I have had 2 pick up.
That's not very encouraging. I thought, well.
Well, they have until August.
Yeah. August 16th.
Well, it's less than a month away.
So,
Oh, God. All right, well, don't all race up there at once. Okay, so thank you very much for all of your work on this. Our annual meeting is going to be in here, and then the meeting afterwards will be in the, at Clubhouse 2. We do have a person who is going to MC, meet the candidates, but I just learned that he had a heart attack, so we might have to, yes. So, so I don't know if we have to change to, Beth Parak, who is an esteemed 3rd resident and was on our board and is on GRF. Her husband had a heart attack, and he's going to have surgery tomorrow. So, but I hope that he'll be better enough to be here. So I let Brad know that. All right, in any case, so enough about that. And please, if those of you who believe in praying, and I know a lot of people do, please say a prayer for John, because he's a tremendous addition to this community, John Parak. All right, so then we're going to go over new business. Oh, wait. I have to remember all this. Bunny has something to say.
It's on the same line as Bert, as far as where the video is going to.
Turn your microphone on, Bunny.
It's, where the video, will be played. He said YouTube, but would you be able to access it through the website also and go into YouTube, right?
Yes.
And then on TV6?
Yes.
And those are the only 2 places, so that they would be able to view it.
Right.
Okay. I just wanted an clarification on that. Thank you.
Okay, so no one else at this moment. I have no more speakers coming up, so the next thing is new business. All right, so I can turn this over to
Okay, there'll be 3 resolutions coming up, and these resolutions will be postponed 30 days, subject to member comments. And the first resolution is late charge for assessments. Whereas the collection and lien enforcement policy specifies a late charge in the amount of $20 per month for delinquent assessments, an amount that has remained unchanged for many years, and whereas the mutual CCNRs allow a late charge in the amount of $10 or 10% of delinquent assessments, whichever is greater, and whereas the Finance Committee has recommended an increase in the late charge to sufficiently offset administrative costs required to process and review delinquencies. Now, therefore, be it resolved, July 18th, 2017, that the Board of Directors hereby approves an increase in the late charge for unpaid assessments from $20 to $60 per month, and resolve further that the effective date of the new fee amount will be January 1st, 2018, and resolve further that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized on behalf of the corporation to carry out the purpose of this resolution. I so move.
Second. Any discussion? I don't have anything listed on my screen. Okay, discussion.
One way that residents can avoid late charges is to give the community or the board authority to withdraw funds from a bank account. And is it not true that we are looking into the possibility of also allowing the use of a credit card? You know about that, Lori?
I don't, but I can check.
Okay, but
Yeah.
I did.
Yes, but the thing that we're looking at is because these are huge amounts, there would have to be a fee associated with it.
Well, all I'm
Right.
saying is if we withdraw it from the person's bank account, I've had that going on since I've been here, okay?
Right.
So it's automatically paid. Don't have to worry about being late.
And how do you update the amount when the assessment changes? It just, it's automatic?
Yeah, it's automatic.
Okay,
Once you authorize it.
once you
Yeah.
authorize it. Well, and some people do it as bill pay, so it reminds you, and you just do a transfer. So very few, I don't know if a lot of people use paper. I don't think, checks. I don't think that people run in with cash. So, thank you.
We'll get that info out.
Okay, that's a good thing. Thank you. So, thank you, Bert. Do we have any other speakers, any other comments? Okay, so all those in favor of the motion.
Your vote screen's up now. Your vote screen's up now.
Okay, all those in favor of the motion.
How do we know we voted? One flashing over a circle?
Yes.
Okay.
Does anybody having a town?
I'm missing Bunny and I'm missing Bert Moldau. Bunny walked away. Okay.
All right, well,
So abstain.
all right. Okay, we have 8 yeses, 1 no, 1 abstain. The motion passes. This is on 30 days notification. The truth associated with this is I don't believe that this has been updated for over 10 years. We have some things that haven't been updated for 20 years. And, okay, so the next item, Bert?
Whereas the board is,
Number 13B.
yes. Whereas the board is obligated to manage, operate, and maintain housing for the mutual members as set forth in the declarations of covenants, conditions, and restrictions, CCNRs, and whereas the board is obligated to review lease applications in accordance with its bylaws, CCNRs, and operating rules, and whereas the new lease policy and related fees went into effect on July 1st, 2017, and whereas often due to various circumstances, staff is asked to rush processing of a lease application and has not charged for this service in the past, and the new fee of $50 was determined by board members to be insufficient. And now, therefore, be it resolved on September 19th, 2017, that the board of this corporation hereby increases the rush processing fee of lease applications from $50 to $100, and resolve further that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized on behalf of the corporation to carry out the purpose of this resolution. I move.
Second. Any discussion or comments? Okay, we're ready to vote. I don't see voting. Oh, okay. Well, you know us, we're always rushing.
Bonnie, could you please?
I think you have to make these age sensitive. Okay, the motion has passed. All right, next one, Bert.
This one is plug-in electric vehicles and golf cart policy. It's a very long resolution, so I'll just highlight parts of it. Whereas the board adopted an electrical vehicle charging policy for plug-in electrical vehicles, PEV, to utilize 120-volt outlets in the common areas, and whereas residents are required to pay an annual prorated usage fee for every PEV registered to any unit that does not have a private garage or private charging stations, and whereas a recommendation has been made to allow residents to opt out by signing a waiver if they don't plan on connecting to mutual common area electricity, and whereas in the interest of safety, residents found with unattended extension cords or golf cart charges a minimum of 6 inches above the floor will be subject to fines. And now, therefore, be it resolved on September 19th, 2017, that the following amendments are made to the vehicle, traffic, and parking rules, section 7.13 through 16, 7.13, excuse me, through 16, plug-in electrical vehicles and golf cart. And there are some other sections. 7.13 talks about plug-in electric vehicles, and the points are non-residents are prohibited from connecting to common area outlets, and anyone connected to a common area without authorization may be disconnected, and the owners of PEVs are solely responsible for maintenance and use of their vehicle, and residents' vehicles that are battery electric powered golf carts may connect to common area electricity upon payment of the electrical use fee set by the board, and other resident PEVs are allowed to connect to mutual common area electricity upon payment of the electricity user fee set by the mutual board. And they have to display a sticker, and the sticker is shown on agenda item 13C, page 4 of 6. And the annual fee is a flat fee of $240 or $20 a month for every PEV and that rate of $20 a month may be prorated. And we talked about the decal, and which indicates that the PV is authorized to connect outlets in the third. And if you are connected to the common outlets, but don't have the sticker, you are subject to a fine and to discipline. So here are the fines for unpermitted plug-in electric vehicles found using mutual common area electricity. The first offense is $240, and the requirement of the resident to purchase the decal. The second offense is $480, and each subsequent offense is $480. And in the interest of safety, unattended extension cords may not be used in third for any purpose, and all battery charges must be elevated 6 inches from the floor. And here are the fines for extension cords and golf cart battery charges. First offense, 50, second offense, 100, each subsequent offense, 150. Resolve further that Resolution 031704, approved January 24th, 2017, and Resolution 31719, approved on February 21st, 2017, is hereby superseded and canceled. Resolve further that the officers and agents of this corporation are hereby authorized on behalf of the corporation to carry out the resolution as written. I move.
Do we have a second? Annette seconded it. Okay, we have people who want to comment on this. The first person who would be allowed to comment is the person who made the motion first. Bert, do you have any comments?
No.
The second person who was allowed to speak to the motion is the person who seconded the motion. Annette, do you have anything you want to say?
Next following will be golf cart.
No.
We'll address that then. Okay.
Okay. All right, so our next person who wants to address this motion is Bill Walsh.
Thank you. As hopefully you know, we're trying to coordinate this with United as well as doing it in third, okay? And I've been back and forth with Steve Leonard on this. And his latest suggestion comes on section 7.14, first offense, $240. And he suggested, or at least he questioned our ability or our prudence to require a resident to purchase a PEV decal on top of the $240 fine. And I thought that was reasonable because if they have a second offense, they're going to pay $480, and if any other offense, they're just going to go, to make them purchase a decal after they've made an offense. Hopefully the penalty of $240 on the first offense is going to be enough to discourage them from plugging in. And the reasoning behind this is that one thing that this new resolution gives the resident the option the ability to opt out of a decal. So it almost seemed contradictory to make them then go buy a decal when they really wanted to they'd just come back and opt out. So if there's no problem with that suggestion, take the verbiage out that says, and require the resident to purchase a PEV decal. On section 7.14.
And you can allow the resident.
I can't hear you.
Oh, sorry. Does that preclude the resident from being allowed to buy the decal with the first offense? I assumed that if they so chose, that they would be able to get the decal at the first offense.
I don't think it doesn't prevent them from buying a decal.
Right.
But this is requiring them to buy a decal on top of the
That's why
fine.
I said change the language to allow the resident.
I think that doesn't get the point. That's the point. The point is,
Okay.
we're just trying to
Clarify.
tighten it up a little bit here so it doesn't leave things hanging.
Okay, got it.
So are you?
Any other comments? Go ahead.
So are you saying, I just want to have this clear, that if a person opts out and then they go ahead and they use it anyway, they have to pay a fine? But they don't have, they still are opted out. They just might want to live in the land of paying fines.
That is what Mr. Leonard and myself are.
Well, so the thing is I just want to be sure that we don't put the fine towards buying a decal, because that would
No.
That would defeat the purpose of the entire thing.
That's right.
Okay, I didn't want to be, all right, so that's very good, all right. So it's your recommendation, so you're basically asking that we edit this,
Yes, and
amend it? Okay, so could you just state your amendment?
I'd like to amend the motion
To?
to remove the verbiage and require the resident to purchase a EV decal.
Okay, so that's your motion, do you have a second? We have a second on the motion? So now we have to vote on that. We have to vote on the amended motion before Bert speaks, and then maybe we'll amend it again. Okay, so are we ready to, did we vote?
They're working on it.
All right, they're working on it.
Mine says it's an intended motion to increase the lease rush fee.
She's right, it went back again, John.
Oh, mine says that too.
Yeah, it did, it
catching the
defaulted back to that again.
What?
We're making a note of that.
So can't we just do a hand vote on this? Because I don't want them, all right. So all those in favor of the amended motion? Okay, so we have two people. Are you opposed? Or, so all those opposed to the motion? And all those abstaining from the voting? Okay, you got all that, Chris? All right. So the motion has passed. So now we have an amended motion. So Bert, did you want to speak? But did you want to speak to the amended, or you just want to speak? Okay, good, all right.
I want people to be aware of the fact that we still are lacking the ability within the community to provide support to guests who are visiting with electric vehicles and have to drive extended miles, which presents a problem for them. And certainly there are charging stations nearby, which, by the way, I think we should identify where they are for the purpose of the residents. But secondly, I want them to be aware that we do have 2 charging stations available, both residents or guests, level 2 charging stations that are located at the back of the administration building and are accessible.
What do you do, charge? How do you pay?
You pay by, you can either register with the, what's the name of the company, Bill?
So you're able to do it right then and there?
No, you can call, or you can use a regular credit card.
Right at the, like when you.
Yes.
Like when you go to now, when you want to use a meter, you could pay with a credit card.
With a credit card.
So you could just actually go to this charging station and use your credit card to pay?
You can.
Okay, well, that's very good to know. That might be something to put in that newsletter or something.
Is that the one near Ayers? The Ayers?
No, it's behind, in the back.
Please be sure to use your microphone.
I'm sorry. No, that's a really good point, and it's something that we should let people know about. So, thank you. All right, so we have an amended motion, and we voted on the amended motion. So now we have to go back to the original motion to vote on that. So we have to I'm sorry, we have a resident comment. Okay, resident, please come up, give your name and manor number, and make your comment.
Marty Lapata, 23981D. Are you going to give golf carts a sticker?
Would they have a sticker?
No, there were no stickers for golf carts now for paying if you pay your fee.
There is supposed to be a sticker, isn't there?
Sorry. You don't get a sticker when you pay a fee for electric charging on a golf cart. The only golf cart fee that you get a sticker for is for the golf course. So I question why there is no sticker for a golf cart if you're going to give a sticker to an electric vehicle.
Well, I don't want to say that one of us has lost it, but we believe that when you pay your fee, You get your sticker, and your sticker is what you have on your golf cart. We did not make any ruling as it relates to the golf course. So does anyone know?
Stickers for paying the fee for a golf cart. You get your sticker, which is your entry sticker with the 2017 that goes on a car windshield, but there is no specific sticker that says you paid a fee for a golf cart.
Really?
I'm checking right now.
The golf cart, doesn't the golf cart have that sticker on it so it can get in and out the gates?
Yes, but there's nowhere in those stickers, Joe, does it say you paid your fee. So I'll make up a story. I
Okay.
own a golf cart, I don't pay the fee, I plug in, I have
Well,
a
we're
sticker to
gonna
get in and out of the property, but there's no way for security to know that that golf cart paid the $160 fee.
So you haven't been paying your golf cart fee?
Of course I have.
Because otherwise I was going to tell you when there
I
was
just
a
used that as an
disciplinary hearing.
But I think, Marty, that if Annette hasn't already contacted you,
Yes, she has, but
Oh, okay.
you're about to make
Okay.
a motion that affects this.
Well, no,
So I'm
the-
simply telling you, I suggest you make it an amendment to your motion that a golf cart will have a sticker.
Well, the thing
If I
is
can
that
interrupt.
should be covered in a totally different resolution. And the only thing that I was going to say that was really exciting is with this entire motion, we have not changed the price of the golf cart fee. So if anybody's only partially listening to this, we are not changing that amount.
There
But-
already is a resolution to that
Yeah.
effect, but not all golf carts require a sticker. If you have a garage and you have.
Correct.
You do not require a sticker because you
But
can use your
then
own
do you
plug.
have, well, I think that this is a very murky area. Because I always thought that if you didn't have your own garage, you had to have a sticker and your sticker showed that you have paid your fee and security would notice that. I did not know that we had a sticker to go in. Obviously, we have one to go in and out of the gate. But I didn't know that we had to have one for the golf course.
Yes.
So I believe that our newly appointed, which you're going to be involved with, golf cart committee, which is really our task force, which is really supposedly looking for ways to find better parking for golf carts. But now they can add this to but that would be bizarre, because that's what we vote. Somebody has to look up that resolution and see what the situation is there. All right, so to go back, we need a resolution to cover the original motion, and we just have to vote on it. This one. So does anyone, don't we have to make?
We have a resolution.
We're ready to vote.
we're ready to vote.
Oh, all right, so all those in favor? Okay,
What are we're
We're-
making a motion on the original.
Right.
13C.
Right.
Original one.
right.
So we get a motion.
We already have.
I thought,
We
I
have-
thought we had a motion so we could,
It was Bert
we
and
had to
Nat.
have a
All right,
motion so
we
we
have
could
a
discuss
motion.
it.
Okay, so all those in favor? Do we have the voting able to vote, or shall I just do it by hand?
No, we already voted.
I'm not going to get any comments from the residents today that said, thank you so much for working so hard and running a professional meeting, because they're going to say that I looked like I was. But that's,
Start voting now, please.
please start voting. Vote again. No, don't. All right.
I voted.
Look at the fine print. You know, there should be something on that screen that says your vote has been received.
There is, it gives you the total at the end.
No, I mean for the directors.
There is, we can turn that on.
Just like a thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Thank you for voting.
So Bunny, you go first, please.
I'm missing Bunny, John Frankel, Bert Moldow,
I voted.
Bert Baum,
Or
Susan
bomb. Don't touch.
Zules.
Yeah, right there.
I don't show that you voted.
Okay,
That might be the problem.
Oh, yeah, I drew it.
Who else?
She voted twice. Trump must have machines.
I'm missing John Frankel.
That's why.
Could you try for 6?
I see it now,
Trump really
John.
has a
Okay.
complaint.
John is there
Valid
now.
complaint,
Now we need
President.
Bert Moldow.
Bert Mulder.
I voted.
No, you're missing the button.
There we go.
Okay.
There we go. Let me
It's
record.
supposed to be over that green
But I
button.
got the circle.
Okay, we have 9 yeses and 1 no. All right, the motion passes. Okay, so the next item is 13D.
That's easy.
All right. We don't have to vote on this, do we? We don't have to enter, we just are entertaining this. Right. So we're entertaining a motion to,
Appoint a golf cart parking task force.
so we have entertained that motion. Do we have to vote?
Just need to give us names.
Okay, so we have already discussed this, so this is just to be transparent. Annette has agreed to chair this task force. And who else is, you are allowed to pick who's on your task force?
Well, I do apologize because when I said it was a motion to entertain, I figured we had to get it approved.
We entertained it already.
Okay, but what I'm saying is, I didn't go out and reach out. I have a whole list of people that I'd like on.
Okay,
I will reach
so,
out
well,
to
you'll
them.
get back to us.
Yes, I will.
All right, because it is up to you as a person who has accepted the responsibility of the task force to select their task force.
Yes.
We do not, all right,
Those
so.
members that are eager, but I have not put
All right,
together.
and the purpose of this task force is, first of all, to find out about the decal, but also to uncover parking, to look about charging, places to charge, so that we don't have this extension cords all over the floor and batteries on the floor and all that. So if you can, at our next meeting, we're asking this for the future, report on the activities and the goals of your task force, that would be great.
I definitely will. I already have the plans for like the garden villas, so I'm now, and Steve has given me a list of people that have possessed the technical skills that will be required to look at that so we can get moving, so.
Okay, and you're going to be working with our parking group and all that?
Yes.
Right. Okay, all right, so we are now done with new business, and it's time for committee reports. So the first report, I was waiting for Steve to leave before he did this, is the report of the Finance Committee. And could you please make sure that you remind people about the dates of the budget? Is that in here?
The dates of the budget?
Yeah, when they can come to budget meetings?
Oh, I don't have that with me.
All right, Lori will get that while you're doing your presentation,
Okay.
so that we could remind the residents. Thank you, Lori. Thank you, Steve.
Okay, starting with the treasurer's report, and this is for the end of May 31st, 2017. Total revenue for third through May 31st was $13,871,000, compared to expenses of $10,599,000, resulting in more revenue than expense by $3,272,000. Next slide, please.
Excuse me, we don't have anything on any of our screens.
Oh, we can put it back, I just wanted to do that.
Because we can't see those screens over there.
Okay, now we look at those same results with the distinction between operating and funds. This chart shows how much of our revenue went into operations, with $7,669,000 coming in from assessments and $458,000 coming in from other sources such as resident violations and insurance reimbursements. This is compared to operating expenditures of $8,127,000. After backing out depreciation, which is not funded through operations, we can see the bottom line. We had an operating surplus of $424,000 as of this reporting period. However, further explanation is coming. Slide 3, please. Next slide. This chart shows how much of our revenue went into our reserve funds and the amount expended to date. Take a second to let you see that. Slide 4, please. With a favorable bottom line of $3,272,000 compared to a budget of $1,240,000, this was better than budgeted by $2,032,000, primarily due to the following: timing of reserve expenditures, primarily outside services for building structures, roofs, and waste lines. Number 2, building structure work was delayed in the second quarter due to contractual review. Roofing is budgeted throughout 2017, but will start in third quarter. Also, a waste line vendor was selected in March, and replacement work is now in progress. Slide 5, please. On this pie chart, we show the operating expenses to date of $7,800,000 by category, showing that our largest categories of expenses are for compensation and utilities. Slide 6, please. The reserve balances as of May 31st, 2017 were just over $27.1 million. To date, contributions to reserves, including assessments and interest earnings, totaled just over $5.7 million, while expenditures to date totaled just over $2.8 million. As mentioned previously, much of this increase is due to timing, and reserve program expenditures are anticipated later in the year. One of the things is tree trimming, which will be coming in, and you'll be seeing significant expenditures in this area, as well as some other areas where contracts were recently let. Okay, that's the end of the slides. In conclusion, we've reviewed delinquencies for unpaid assessments totaling $394,307, which represents about 1.2% of our annual assessment budget. We're able to keep this somewhat low because of delinquencies are being followed up with collection policies and procedures on these accounts. Also, we have started turning from being reactive, we're turning the corner to being proactive to get advice from lawyers and other people ahead of time before things go into such things as bankruptcy. So we're working closely with legal counsel on this. Okay, moving on into monthly sales report. I'm going to give some more statistics than normal, just so you can track it for anyone that's interested in this. Total number throughout the village of sales this year through the end of June is 87. Last year this time was 86. 87 units. Oh, I'm sorry. 500 units this time. And this time last year was 511. So we're a little short on that. Turning to Third Mutual, so far this year through the end of June, 245 units have been sold. Last year this time was 240 units. So we're up 2.1%. Okay. Still going on total sales volume this year. Year to date is 96,606,000. Last year this time was 81,138,000. So we're up 19.1%. Average resale price through this period this year, $390,850 compared to last year of $339,522. In other words, we're up 15.1%. Continuing on with this, our leasing statistics through this period of June, we're at 27% of the 6,102 units that are in our area. Some other comments I'd like to make is in the consent calendar, we passed the purchasing of the earthquake insurance. As you may recall, back in the 2007 era, we did have insurance at that time period for Third Mutual. It was canceled because it was running an annual premium of over $600,000. We had a task force that looked at it this year because we were getting some good vibes from insurance that the policy amount had decreased significantly, which it has. We put together a task force of people, engineers, geotechnical people, staff people, and also our finance advisors to the Finance Committee. And unanimously, they approved to bring this forward for consideration to the Finance Committee and now to the board, of which we have just passed. So I'll just give you a couple highlights on that. For a $10 million policy and coverage, it has a 5% deductible. Coverage is being provided by two carriers, this being Earnest Indemnity Insurance Company and General Security Indemnity Company of Arizona. The annual premium is $162,000, but including taxes, fees, it comes up to $167,844. This includes $100,000, which would cover anything that's damaged in removal due to asbestos or contaminant abatement, pollution cleanup. So as you can see, it's come down into a very attractive area, And this amount will be taken care of by $2 per manor per month being transferred from the disaster fund over to operations, and about $21,500 from our contingency fund. Now, along with this, several people have asked, why didn't we have insurance? Well, the main reason was that we just couldn't get a good policy that we could afford. But the other part of this is the resident's responsibility to take out an HO6 policy, which will include your interior build-out, any amenities that you've included and things like that, that our policy does not cover. Basically, we're covering the structure to the interior, and then it's the individual's responsibility to cover any build-out on the inside. So the policy is effective 15 July of this year and runs for a year. And that's all I have to report on that.
Okay, I just have 3 questions. Number one, when they stopped having the earthquake insurance because of the premiums, that's when the board stepped up the
Right.
contribution to the disaster fund.
Correct.
So, and we will still
Be making
continue with our contribution
Correct.
to the disaster fund. We're just going to take a little bit of it, and instead of putting that towards the insurance. So we're not,
Correct.
so we're going to, okay, so that's clear. I thought that we were going to vote on this insurance at the closed meeting because it's contractual. Because all that number 11C is that the Finance Committee basically, they entertained a motion to, so they have approved of us going forward, but we
Yes.
still have to vote on it, and because it's contractual, it has to be at the closed meeting.
Okay.
So we
My
have
mistake.
to, and I don't see it on the notes, so we just have to make sure that we have it on there. We know that we
Right.
discussed it, we went over it, et cetera, but we had some questions, so let's just make sure that we add that.
We have a speaker request.
Okay, to closed. And I know that I saw Bunny was jumping out of her seat, so I wanted to be sure that we have that. So we are discussing that at the closed meeting. So it isn't, because Betty said, let me give you my approved. And it's contractual, it has to go to close, but we have a very favorable approach to that. So, and thank you so much for all of your hard work. Do you have the dates of the budget meetings, Lori?
Not yet, but they're forthcoming. I've asked for them.
Okay, so let's make sure we don't leave today before we remind the community about those dates. So thank you very much, Steve, and for all of your hard work. The other thing that you didn't tell people about is that you are developing a roadmap on the internal assessment collection program, because we know that we have not been thorough enough in some of the aspects of our collection policy. What the residents don't know is there are some months, like last month, where we had to write off over $40,000 in close to 50. It's very hard for people who don't pay their assessments. So we just have to make sure, which is what Steve has been really working on, is that we're following every step along the way to try to collect. You know, we can't just go to small claims court. We have to do very things. So Steve has been really, really working on this, and I'm sure when he gets back from his extended vacation, here anything over a week is extended. We'll follow up on this. So thank you very much. All right, so the next thing on the committee report.
We have a request to speak.
Oh, we have another request to speak. Yes, Lori.
I do have your numbers for you.
These
So-
are the dates of the budget meetings.
Correct.
Okay.
So for those that are interested, Wednesday, August 9th at 9:30 a.m. is the GRF budget, and Friday, August 11 at 9:30 is the third budget, both in this room.
And these are these televised?
Yeah.
Yes.
Both televised.
All right, so televised. But these are still a very good time for people who want to make comments or ask questions. Lynn, this is a perfect time for you to come and ask any questions that you want to ask. All right, so we don't hear about it after. All right, so thank you, Lori. So we have that for us. It's Friday, August 11th at 9:30. And for GRF, it's Wednesday, August 9th at 9:30 also? 9:30 also. Okay. All right, so that no one else wants to speak? Okay, the report of the Architectural Control and Standards Committee. Who's doing that, Bert or Bill? Okay.
Oh, yeah. Okay. The Architecture Committee this time had very few requests for alterations, probably attributable to the common area ruling that we have passed. So the other thing that has happened is that the, what do you want to call it, downstairs, have been turning back applications. So we're not even beginning to see those applications. So we don't know how many have been applied that basically would have been calling for some consideration for common area.
Right, and that has to be changed.
Yes.
Which we have asked for 2 months.
Well, Brad has indicated that changes are being made. As I understand it, staff has already prepared a checklist that would be handed to somebody coming in with an application that identifies every step that they have to go through, okay, in order for ultimate approval. So that I suspect has already been done, but I have not checked. Okay? The other thing that staff has done is that they have basically standardized a whole list of exceptions that would exist or that we could make, not would make, but could make when we would approval of a variation. So that what they can do now is generally just go in and pick the paragraphs that would apply to their specific application, which makes matters a little simple, rather than having to uniquely write each exception for each application or each applicant. So I think that's a very positive step. We discussed the fact that we are going to amend the enclosed common atrium wall standard, and I think that's come about because of the statement that was made by residents this morning. In the past, when we saw that an application basically was a standard, we did not require anything coming in from neighbors. And we felt that that was one major change, that regardless of whether or not something calls for a standard change, we feel that neighbors have the right to comment. And so we've instituted that change. We have also changed the neighborhood hearing notice significantly. Okay. What we have done is, rather than having the applicant send out a notice to his neighbors, this has now become the responsibility of staff to do so. And it will be sent out in registered mail. Secondly, we don't ask for the form to come back necessarily. Let me read what we do. It says, any member owner wishing to comment on a proposed variance may do so in writing between the date of this notice and the hearing date identified above, or may appear to be heard at time and place noted. So this is the procedures now that we will be following in the future to hear neighbor objections, if there are some. Also, just to make a note that we're continuing to hear complaints from people about the contractors parking in locations where it is specifically designated for our residents. So I think something has to be done to crack down further on this issue. I do believe now that contractors, when they come in, check me if I'm wrong, are getting a notice to that effect. Okay, so then they still are violating this. And we've got to do something to inform the owners that they have to notify or let their contractors know, okay, that we're serious about this, and that right now they are the ones that are liable. And I would suggest that when you sign a contract with a contractor, try to put a paragraph in there stipulating that should you be fined, that will be deducted from whatever you're paying the contractor. to cover the fact that you, the owners, will be liable for that expense. And next meeting is August the 3rd of the committee.
Okay, we have, thank you very much, Bert. We have a speaker, someone requesting to comment, and that is Bert Brown.
Could you clarify why we're accepting alterations in the common area?
Right now, we're not. It's being turned away.
Said that you're not going to be turned away in the future, right?
Well, I think they have a right to be heard.
Okay.
That's why we asked Brad and we asked Chris and we asked staff to come up with a customer-oriented method of somebody comes up, we can't just say, I'm sorry, we're not doing that. We have to give them the information that this is not per our legal requirement, we're not accepting this, but were you to try to get this approved, these are the steps that you have to follow. And it's something that we owe to the community. I have two questions, and I noticed this, I brought this up the other day. There's a window alteration policy that was put out many years ago that says that you can't use the 3-paned windows off of a bedroom. And I know it's that way in the Garden Villas or the LH21s because you couldn't, if there were a fire, you couldn't exit through the side. And I noticed that, and I just sent a note to Brett, and I copied you also, that just the one unit where we were having all of the problems, where they weren't using permits, where they were parking, whatever, where they had asbestos, everything, they have put in the wrong window. They have put in that window. So I don't know, this is a thing that we have to address. We have to look at the code, and if the law requires that, what do we do to all of these people who have installed the wrong window? Because when I look at my building, there are at least 5 or 6 incorrect windows. And who, if the contractors have to, the window installers have to get a permit. And is anybody checking up on their work? So are we allowing people to break the law? Or was it never a law and somebody just said it was a law, whatever. So that really has to be looked into. I mean, and I know we have a lot of things to do, but that's a pretty simple one. I don't see how the wrong one is installed. When I had my windows installed, and I was very lucky because Lynn Jarrett recommended the window installer, there was no question. This was the one that you were putting in the bedroom, the one that didn't have those little side things. So I think that we just have to be really careful. If we're issuing permits, does anybody check on the work? I don't know. And then the other thing is the parking thing is totally out of control. There are days, and I know it's for all of us, that sometimes 3 out of 5 spots are taken up with parking, sometimes by the same contractor, and there's no space for the residents. And the thing is we can't be calling security all of the time, because lots of times we don't even know who the vehicles go to. We could guess, but sometimes they have parking in different buildings. So this is really bad, and it shouldn't be that difficult. And we've talked to Brad about it constantly. We've talked to Tim about it, and I think it's a pretty big issue. It's a really big issue for the residents because there's nowhere to park. And then they take up all the spots. And then they leave debris or paint or stuff all on the parking spaces because they don't clean up after themselves. So that should be a real hot button. All right.
If I could just respond on the windows. The CC&Rs basically say that if this window had gone in more than a year ago, okay, basically it gets grandfathered in. But anything that's happened within the past year, okay, we could force that to be taken out and corrected.
But then the real issue is who checks up on the work that's done? And no, obviously. So I certainly don't want to ask staff to run around now and to have window patrol, but this is really, it's really bad.
Isn't it just an inspection after
I would say not, because if there was an inspection, they would notice that it was the wrong window.
Turn your microphone on.
I can only speak for my own experience, but we recently put in new windows in our bedroom, and after pulling the permit and having the window installed, we had an inspection
Maybe they only, from the city.
from the city.
By the city, yeah.
Well, the city didn't inspect these other ones. I don't know, there's something really loose in that, and that's just, I know, the tip of the iceberg, so we have to address that. Okay, so now, Bert, it's time again for you to speak about maintenance and construction.
Okay, committee went through the project log. Some of the things that I want to highlight is the red curb program to open up parking spaces has been temporarily halted. Got about 10% of the way through. And the contractor's finding that he just cannot do the job at the price that he quoted. He wants to renegotiate the contract. That's where that stands. So it's basically at a standstill. The street paving program to alert people has started. And the cul-de-sacs and all the residences within the cul-de-sacs will be given advance notice to assure that they will be prepared to move their vehicles when the time arises. Because you need, excuse me, you need a clear street. Wow. Thirdly, we have approved signing of a contract with SCE for 788 streetlights, and I believe that's something on the agenda this afternoon.
Yes, it is.
Okay, which will greatly improve the street lighting in the community. Do not expect this to take place immediately, as we were informed that the process followed by SCE will take somewhere in the neighborhood of 9 months. They have to approve it. It has to go to the Public Utility Commission. They have to approve it. It has to again come back to SCE, and so they're saying at least 9 months. We also understand that right now, there are 50 or 51 other cities in the queue taking advantage of this program. So I don't know whether that would even have a further impact on when we would be able to finally sign off and own these lights. But until that happens, there's very little that we can do to change.
Well, we do have information from our attorney and comments, and I sent a copy of it to Ernesto, a copy to you, and a hard copy is prepared for all the board members for today.
Yes.
Right, Catherine?
Yes.
Okay. Staff, another thing, staff reported on replacing Manor hot water heaters with tankless to determine if we could employ tankless instead of the tank, and thereby avoid the problem of having to put the Watts device, we're adding an expense to the hot water heaters.
And what happened with that?
And what staff has come back with basically is saying that the electrical panels that are at the residence have insufficient current. They're only rated at 100 amps, and it would take more in order for the tankless water heaters to be effective.
Even for the smallest one? Remember, we talked about,
Yep.
you know, a really,
Even for the smallest one.
okay.
You want to talk now?
Yeah, I think Ernesto sent around a budget statement like we all got. I think in there, he says they're still looking at it. There's some possibility.
What we're looking at is the tankless hot water heaters for the rec rooms.
Okay.
Yeah. We're, basically it's very close to available 240-volt lines. Okay. We're also considering, and we haven't pursued this further, we're looking into it. In the Gardenville laundry rooms and in the standalone laundry rooms, in the past, the hot water heaters we used to have in the Garden Villas, 2 50-gallon hot water tanks, and some, I think, and 80 gallons, I guess, in the Garden Villa. And the same was true for the laundry rooms. And last year, we made a determination that this was overkill, that given the new efficient washing machines, you didn't need anywhere near the amount of water that was used at the time that we first developed this whole thing. And secondly, the cold water wash that is now available, which was not available way back when, most people do not use that amount of hot water in their laundry. And so we were able to effect basically a policy whereby we were removing one of the two 50-gallon tanks, which made a significant savings. And we proposed where we could, if the tank was still new enough, we would warehouse it. And in the event we had to then replace a tank, we could use an existing tank. But when you think about the potential savings that may exist, we felt, for instance, that we didn't need 50 gallons, that actually 20 gallons would be more than sufficient to support the laundry rooms or to support the garden villas. And on that basis, we asked staff to go back and look to see whether or not it would be more economical for us from an energy standpoint to replace even the existing 50-gallon tank with a 20-gallon tankless. So they're looking into that.
Didn't you also ask staff what their standard was for water heater replacement in the 3-story buildings? Because for the residents, it's every 10 years. And shouldn't they, what is the standard for?
It's 10 years.
It is 10?
Yes.
Because they were it was a little vague. Okay. So
Okay,
don't
and we
run
talked
out.
about the electric car charging, so I won't cover that again. There are a number of buildings in this community that have trellises that are included within the footprint. And we know that it costs us money when the time comes to repaint these buildings, to look to see about the dry rot and repair the dry rot and then have to paint trellises. And we decided that we might be better off if there were no trellises. So we are offering our residents an option.
We're working on it.
You know, we're working on this. I said, we've recommended it in the committee.
Right.
Right. Where we want to give the resident the option to remove the trellis at no cost to them, if they so desire.
Again, we're working on that because staff pushed back, so we have to come to an agreeable solution.
We're going to discuss that this afternoon.
Is it this afternoon?
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yeah. Oh, yeah, we're planning on going ahead and painting the curbs on the entranceway to the cul-de-sacs with addresses of buildings within that cul-de-sac. Right now, many of the cul-de-sacs have little tiny signs over either a pole up high or stop signs, and that may be fine during the day if you've got good eyesight. But in the evening, there's almost no way that you can even hope to read those signs. And by putting the addresses on the curb, it gets lit up by the headlights of a car, and they're much bigger numbers, so it's much easier to read. So we're going ahead with that program. And we are also trying to deal with building addresses. We are going to have a pilot program where we're going out for 10 buildings, and we're going to put up reflective address signs, and the letters are going to be 8 inches high, rather than the, 2 inches or 3 inches right now
So
that we have.
this is 8.
The letters, yes.
Yeah, this is
The numbers are
8,
going to be
8.5.
right. Yep.
So that's how high they're going to be.
Yeah.
Is that high enough?
Well, we
Is that
think it might be.
Is that the test building that we did? Was that how big it was?
Yeah. Okay, to make it more visible, and if this works, we'll proceed to do that in all of the Garden Villa and LH21 buildings.
And when is this test going to be?
It should be underway right now. I guess we were told that they're going ahead with it. We've approved it.
Yeah, I think they were gonna scout out the buildings
Yeah.
they wanted. and
They're
I
supposed to
assume-
come back to us after they have identified buildings they want to do and tell us where they propose to put these signs so that we can either approve or disapprove of location. Okay? We discussed replacing our existing dryers with coin-operated dryers. And we've looked into that, and we know the cost now. We do have more than sufficient money in the reserves to deal with this issue of replacement. And I think that's going to come before the board in the future, very near future. Also, we're going to be replacing heat pumps in, I believe, 5 rec rooms this year.
And we've quadrupled the budget
Keep-
for the next few years.
Correct.
Quadruple.
Keep you happy, Lynn. Okay. The next meeting of this committee is September the 6th, and that's the report.
Okay, I have a question. Does anybody have any questions? Because I don't see any, and my whole screen is dark. Did my screen break? It did. Doesn't do anything. Oh, it's doing, all right. We don't have any speakers? Okay, these are my 2 questions. So we said that the person who did the red car program pulled out because it's too much work. So what are we gonna do now?
Not necessarily, well, it hasn't pulled out, asking us to renegotiate.
And for more money.
Yeah.
But the thing is that we have been taught, this has been going on for like so long. I think that we have to just sit down with Brad and just say, you know, paint over the paint or do something. I mean, this is, or otherwise get the new amount or whatever, but how long have we been talking about, and I know it's not your doing, so believe you me, I know that, but we're gonna have to sit at the year-end meeting and say, what have we accomplished? Not much, so we have to get some of this stuff done. And it's really, I mean, I'm sure Bunny is excited about that. So are they gonna give us a new bid soon, or what is the story?
I haven't got a notice, I don't know.
All right, we have to know. We have to know on some of this stuff. It's just it's like the same thing with the numbers. We've been talking about it for 3 years. So we just have to get this done. I know one exciting thing for M&C is that we are going to be reviewing a bid to finish the dry rot on the LH21s this afternoon. So I know that, and you've supposedly already passed it in M&C, so that could be done, but it's getting very frustrating. My other question is where are these new efficient washing machines that use less hot water? I haven't seen them.
Well, right now, the machines that we use are only using 3.6 gallons.
Oh, because the washing machines in my building are probably almost as old as I am. They almost have little ringers on them, but that's neither here. Instead of having. I know, I'm telling the truth. Okay, but in any case, thank you for working so hard. We just have to really push on some of these things that are really important to get these done. So thank you, Bert. All right, no, so now it's James, report of the Landscape Committee.
Thank you. We'll try to make it more colorful. So, well, there's 4 items I want to discuss. Well, first thing, I want to apologize a little bit. Because we're short of a staff, much of our area maintenance kind of fall behind. I got so many calls from a resident, oh, well, how come my yards look so terrible? You know, shrubs need to be trimmed, tree need to be trimmed. Well, we try very hard. I'll mention a little bit of the last item. But however, our staff, landscape staff are not idling. They're doing something, you may not see it. So can I have the first slides? That we're still, because of Orange County Fire Authority, you know, want us to clear up so-called amber zone. So the first picture showing this is outside Gate 11, it's 5226 Moya. Those sort of are still on the northwestern edge of our community. We need to clean them up. So this is a picture showing before cleaning, and the next slides showing after cleaning. You see how much work is involved. You know, that's what it really took the staff a lot of times. Next one, and also this is a sort of a try to explain in our landscape budget, we have item called miscellaneous. Well, people wonder what the miscellaneous covers. One of the item in the miscellaneous is the supporting, for example, painting job before, after cleanup. The landscape also, in this case, again, is outside of Gate 11, Moya, that some of the tree really growing, destroy the existing walls. So the staff have to demolishing some of the damaged walls and then clean them up. So this is the picture showing the damaged wall. The next one, I'm showing the staff are demolishing some of the damaged walls. That's, again, demand staff work, time to work. Next slide, please. And this is afterwards, after the damaged wall being demolished and cleaned up. And next slides. This is again, see, this is when the security tried to add, because there were some stealing or people get really into the gate 11. So security tried adding more iron fence on top of the wall. So, but still, before the contractor can do the work, there's outside plants, you have to clean it up. So next one showing the, see, this is how nice. This is what in gate 11, the security added this iron fence. So that can prevent, and authorities, people to jump into our community. This is very nice. I think this is a rare chance even me, seeing this picture. So, but that all demand staff to work. But that doesn't mean that we're not going to clean them up.
Is that where the break-in occurred?
Is
that where the break-in occurred?
Yeah, somewhere, yeah. Oh, right.
Use your microphone.
Yeah, along gate 11, right, nearby, yes. Okay. Okay, I think that's next item I want to talk about is we call the pilot soil sensor pilot project. Now we have we install some in gate 11, gate 14. We have 2 months of monitoring preliminary result. I bloated up the two ratios, 24%, 32%, 7%, 20. Those are preliminary amount of water savings. And I call it preliminary because it's only 2 months. We want to cover the full year, at least 10 months of the most of the months we are actually using the water. So, but this number looks encouraging. So we'll continue monitoring. And also staff told me that the vendor, they put the sensor in a relatively more dry area, so the mount may not exactly right. So that's why we need to continue monitoring. But this is the initial results, kind of encouraging. Okay, that's the second item. Third item is about we put some budget in our next year's budget for modernization. Well, I will show you some example done by the United Mutual. Could I have the next slides, please? See, this is a kind of we're under the tree, regular turf, never really doing very well. So they remove the turf, not so well turf, and change it to nice plants. And that's what we plan to do too, the similar thing next year. We putting our budget $250,000. Thanks for the committee to approve that. The next slide is a similar thing. Again, this is our nice staff, Bob. So again, this area was turf, but it wasn't doing very well for some reason. So they changed to a nice plant. And that's part of our modernization. Also, we're working with Garden Villa and Yulin because they're constantly complaint of cluttering of residence plants. That's occur everywhere. So what we're waiting for, Lane, GRF, Garden Villa, if you give us a proposal, what the reason we want to do that is we don't want to offend the residents too much. It says, okay, you're not allowed to have this plant. So we like to get some proposal from Garden Villa people, and then we'll work from there to set up a sort of certain mutual plan policy to compromise between both sides. And that's what we're working on. So hopefully, Lynn, you can give me some, yeah. Okay, the last thing I want to say is, I've been find enough excuse. So many calls to me complain, their yard is to fall behind of being maintained. Well, I talked to Brad. Brad promised that he gave the landscape staff the authority starting to hire some temporaries. Obviously, we have a problem of getting the hired staff, people, because, that our Orange County sort of real estate is more expensive than the Riverside area. So it's pretty difficult to get staff. So now, under the situation, we want to remedy this. So maybe get some summer hire temporaries to catch up that's falling behind. From then on, hopefully, we'll do better. Because when they do the work, most of the time it's okay. But there's a room for improvement. That's the remedy. And also, for that, I just want to let you know, in our next budget, even with the reduction on overall turf, because of our turf removal, but we're still to increase the lawn or turf maintenance, because we want to increase the cycle so that you won't get too long turf without cutting or mowing. And also, we try to increase the shrub maintenance cycles so that hopefully you will less frequently use, oh gosh, my shrub really too long. Okay, I think that's all on the landscape.
Well,
Hopefully
thank
that's
you.
not too long.
Thank you. So now, do you want to report on, don't we have a water report? Later, okay, I'm giving you a rest. Report on village traffic hearings, John?
The traffic hearings were held on June 21st that I'm reporting on. We had 27 violations. 5 were for speeding, 3 for abandoned vehicles, 6 in the RV lot. People have a tendency not to keep their RV vehicle with clutter. 1 with a no valid sticker, 4 stop sign violations, 1 driver had a cell phone and was using it and he was stopped. 1 with no valid driver's license, 1 overnight pass that expired, 1 clutter in the vehicle. You can't park your pickup and have all kinds of stuff in it. And 1 parking violation, and then there were 3 who were found not guilty.
Thank you very much, John. That's it? All right. So the next thing is report of the Communications Committee. Bert Baum?
I'll try to make this brief. We're running,
Because everybody's getting like
yes.
fainting.
I can hear the rumble of stomachs as I sit here.
Doesn't,
In terms of new resident orientation, if you are a new resident, we welcome you to these sessions. There's one that's held once a month on Friday morning, I think in the Elm Room, and you can make a reservation by simply calling the desk out there. The other one, now every other month, we're having an evening session, which is held on Wednesday evening, I think at 6 p.m. So we're trying to streamline those procedures to make them more effective and more interesting to the new residents. And you can also take a bus tour. There are 2 that leave every Thursday, one in the morning and one in the afternoon. And again, you could call the desk or resident services, they'll give you the information. That's the Dothan tour. Bruce Hartley visited the communication meeting and gave us an update on what he's doing. I think that Brad has talked about that, so I won't go into that. The point is, we asked him to publicize what he's doing now. So he agreed we will probably have an article in the Breeze on that. But of course, they're looking to streamline the schedule and the service to make it more effective and also less costly. We want to reach out to the clubs, and we ask that if you have a club, you want a third mutual member to talk to you, you can call Heather Rasmussen at 268-2292, and she'll be glad to make an arrangement with us to have someone talk to you. That's our main aim, is to improve communication between the residents and the committee. We talked earlier about getting more information on about resident services is doing, and at this meeting, Heather brought the log that Catherine keeps of all calls that go into the manager's office. So these are calls that Brad gets, or emails, or Lori, and
Or
she's...
even us, even ours go on that list, right?
Sometimes they do, yeah. So we want to smooth out that system, but it's a very valuable report, and we've asked Heather to come back with that and break it down into the various areas so we get a sense of where the problems are. The other thing that we recommend, though, is if you have a problem initially, please do not go to Brad or to Lori. Call resident services, and then if they don't respond, call them once more, give them a week. And if that doesn't happen, then we will establish a hierarchy, then it becomes more of a problem. But we're really interested in making resident services work and be more responsive, and we don't want to tie up all staff time. So, because many of these problems can be handled more easily. So our next meeting is going to be on August 28th in the Cypress Room at 1:30. Thank you.
Okay, the next employee orientation is Friday, the 21st at 9 to 10:30 a.m. in the Elm Room, so it's the morning one, July 21st, and the director in attendance is Annette. So that's just to show you that I keep a copy of the schedule. The other thing is that we've, as Garden Villas and our third of third, we have talked to Lynn and to Bert, and we're going to change our Breeze section for third, and we're going to give the Garden Villas like a half a page or less, or a little more. And we're asking that Lynn work with Bert and Heather to get this going. So the next issue is already done.
Yes.
So it'll be the issue after that. So Lynn, we ask you to work with Heather and to determine, you certainly don't want it to be a list of all of the schedules of when they're cleaning the garages or when they're painting or when you hope they're painting or things like that. But I think that that'll be an exciting thing. A very exciting thing, which no one mentioned, is that we are approving it's in our budget, getting somebody who is a person who is focused on the Garden Villas, because that is a third, and this person isn't going to be out there painting and sweeping. This is a person who's going to be out there inspecting and working and making sure that the work is done to get these buildings up to where they should be. I've been trying to do this forever, and we're going to really get it done. There's going to be a new person working on the rec rooms, and it might be the same person, but we're not sure of that yet, and we're really trying to work on that. So I think that that's important. That would be something that would be exciting. Some new faces, pictures, whatever. So we're excited about that, and thank you. Thank you, Lori, for getting that little idea to work, and for Lynn and Bert and Heather. So, okay, so the next thing is the report. Report of Energy and Technology. Bill?
Well, I'm happy to report that yesterday we got the final 3 buildings permitted to operate from Edison, so solar buildings. So we have now 12 solar installations in the community, all on Gardenville building rooftops, producing electricity and going out to the web. The wonderful thing about this was that we were under the deadline to beat July 1st deadline, so we could have these last 3 buildings producing electricity under net metering 1, and we succeeded. And that's probably going to save us tens of thousands of dollars a year in revenue. So it was really an effort by staff, by the city of Laguna Woods. Their permitting office was heavily involved, and a lot of kudos to a couple of gentlemen in the community that I think that really deserve a lot of credit for this. It's been a process for over 2.5 years of investigation into putting solar in the community, and that would be Bert Moldow, sitting to my left here, and Steve Leonard, a director on United. They both were really strong proponents of the idea of bringing solar into the community, and they really worked hard at it. They talked to a lot of vendors, and I think it's a wonderful thing for the community, and I think there's a lot of thanks to go around. So that's my report. Oh, one other thing. On our next meeting of the Energy Committee will be on Tuesday, August 1st at 10 o'clock in the morning. Thank you.
So, Bill, we thank you very much, because the person who really has to be thanked is, after we got it going, was you, because you kept it going. You totally kept it going, and you were like, and now we have to find another big project for you to work on, because don't think that this is done. You've shown us how good you are. We know now. We also have to thank, we have to thank Wei Ming for all of the work that she did on this, because we were a very divided board for a while, but we got it together, and everybody worked really hard. And we really have to thank Ernesto and Mark also, and even Brad for his guidance on this when we were ready to fall apart at the seams at times. So, and the board for saying, I'm never going to talk to Bert again. No, I mean, all of those days we lived with. So thank you very much. It was an experience, and it's done. Yay. Almost done. We haven't figured out how to get them cleaned yet. So the report of the Water Committee, James?
Yes, I have 2 parts to report. First one is concerning our outside water use, the irrigation part. First slides, please. I always try to make it a little more colorful. Well, you can see I marked as 2 red. Back in August 1st, 2016, well, you remember starting 2 years ago, we have a drought situation, and Altora water suddenly reduced allowable outside irrigation water from 100% to 50%. That was August 1st, 2015. Well, as the time goes on, the drought getting a little bit better. So August 1st of last year, 2016, they changed from 50% to 75%. Well, they say August 1st, but if you look at our high-tier water bill, it maybe September 1st, because that August 1st, high-tier water is still pretty high. Now, the more significantly is because of a heavier rain late last year, early this year, so that the mountable water supply is getting better. Therefore, Altora Water decided, their board voted May 1st that the allowable water, irrigation water, resumed from 75% to 100%. So you can see this year's May 17th, the overall high-tier water indeed dropped from April. Well, as the weather getting hotter, but yet the total high tiers didn't drop, that because of changing from 75% to 100%. So we're glad to see that. Also, the Altora Water, I think we will vote this afternoon about this Gate 9 recycle water pipe installation. If everything goes smoothly, the installation work gonna start September this year. Hopefully, we'll finish is September next year. So for that reason, we may be able to save a little bit more water next year. That's one reason. Well, we intend not to increase our water budget for next year because potentially, one, in addition to the turf reduction, so and plus this recycle water, so we keep the water budget as flat, same as this year's. Could you have the next slide? Well, I just want to emphasize, you can see the April water bill, high-tier water bill, indeed is higher than May, as even May getting hotter because of this switch from 75% to 100% allowable irrigation water. Okay, next slide. The second part I want to report is, this is concerning domestic. As you can see, the second column from the right, that's the top, the Tier 4 water meter using by the buildings, our domestic or residential buildings. Now, very interesting about third on the top is a 3526 water meter. Well, in February, March this year, we found that this water meter has a high usage. It turned out there was one manual, 3526-A. Nobody lives there for more than 15 years, and yet they have a toilet leaking. Maybe people maintain it and went in there, do the cleaning, and turn on the toilet. So we reported it, and compliance department talked to the owner who lives in Northern California, agreed to replace the leaking toilet. Well, this manual has two toilets. One is leaking, so we fixed. In April water bill, we don't have a high Tier 4. However, in May, the high water bill came back. So we asked the staff to look into it. It turned out the second toilet is also become leaking. I don't know how that came about.
At least we didn't fix the wrong toilet.
Right.
I thought that's
No.
what you were going to say.
No. It turned out that the toilet is also become leaking. And again, we already called. The compliance department called the owner agreed to pay for the replacement. So hopefully that will take care of that. Okay, so in all, everybody is working hard to reduce the wasting water. So thank you.
Thank you very much, James. Okay, the next item on the agenda is the report of the Resident Policy and Compliance Task Force.
I guess last but not least, right? We had our meeting on June 21st, and one of the things that we're looking at is what's known as the service order entry system, which many people don't know about. And this is a system, unfortunately, that's been abused. I think there are only about, I think the number was 74 in the third, but this gives people the right from the owners to call in to allow people to come in to the community and to order services. So what our lawyer has recommended and we're going to do is probably make it a limited power of attorney and really restrict who can use it under what circumstances. This is designed for people with some sort of disability who can't talk or hear and use the phone. Short-term rentals, we're looking at that, and we continue to look at that. That's a no-no in the community, generally in Third. We do not encourage that, and we have brought people in for discipline and fines for doing that. The minimum rental that we allow in Third is 60 days, and people cannot rent a room, particularly a room. If you rent, you have to rent your whole manor and move out. So you can't live in a manor and rent out a room, and if you are a renter, you can't rent, period. But we know this is being abused, and that's one of the focuses that we've been stressing in our committee. We're also looking at this qualification for non-owner occupants and co-occupants. This is another area that's been abused, and we think we're going to come up with a new policy or clarify what's going on there. There's now a brochure that's been approved by our committee, and I didn't mention, but the Communication Committee for Care Providers, and we're going to have one for landlord and renters. That's coming up. So that simplifies it. You can look at this brochure and know the key things you need to do. But we have one for moving in and moving out. So what you need to do when you move into the community and what you need to do to move out. Our next meeting is going to be not scheduled yet. It's a task force. We will let you know. It will be in the paper, et cetera. Thank you.
Okay, the last part of our meeting is GRF committee highlights. So if you have, I guess we can go according to this. So if you are a representative on that committee, either you could speak about a highlight or you could tell us when the next meeting is. So the first one is Business Planning Committee.
I think the biggest thing here that I've been involved with on this is budget formulation. And I don't know whether you know, but Third, people got together and made recommendations to GRF as to how they could lower their upcoming potential assessment. And they looked at that, came back to us and said, we heard you, and they did just that. And they have proposed a significant reduction. So our voices were heard on that, which I think was very good. And that'll be to our benefit in the future.
And Brad advised me today that he heard my voice about the labor and that there really was some changes that needed to be made in there because it was maybe a little bit looser than it should be. So he said there might be $1 or $2 that would be coming back on that, which is really good. Because, you know, we talked about that, so he just told me, unless he just wanted me to be in a good mood for the meeting. But that's okay, so thank you very much for your hard work on that, and for everyone, for all that you did. I mean, you were outstanding. Jules, you were great, everybody was great. You were outstanding in your comments to GRF, because we have to remember, we're a housing mutual with amenities, not amenities with houses. And that's what we have to really be careful of. But we have to take care of all of us, all of it, because it's all the community. Okay, so the next thing is community activities. Yes, and Annette?
Okay, since I'm on the community activities for GRF, I just wanted to tell you that the next meeting is going to be held on, next meeting for GRF, CAC, will be held on September the 7th at 2 to 4 p.m. in the Spruce Room. The GRF chair is Dr. Beth Perrick, who discussed the success of the July 4th celebration, which was expanded and extended from prior years. She also mentioned that the gym in the community center moved downstairs from the 3rd floor, and that was a success. Brian Gunnan, the VMS Activities Director, had all recreation staff trained in customer service. That was done by a third party that he brought in. And then also the Men's Golf Club that raised the $43,000 for the Laguna Woods Village Foundation. That was the passing of the golf president, Bill Blaine. And the Par 3 office is being renovated, and Recreation and Transportation have been putting together excursions. The example of such enjoyable trips are 75 participants to Laguna Beach on July 12th. About 50 residents or participants went to the Sawdust Festival, and the next scheduled event is August the 9th to go to an Angels game. And then on June the 14th, all the presidents of all the boards got together to discuss activities in the village. So there are more things planned.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Jules, did you
Yes.
have anything?
I
Well,
want to
no.
say something.
No, I was going to ask him about CAC. Did you have anything you wanted to add? Okay. Yes, James.
Yes, well, I attended one of the rare time this CAC meeting. The reason is 3 years ago, or almost 3 years ago, 3 club made a request because in the Clubhouse 7, if you have a slideshow or video show, because of the shining sunlight, you almost couldn't see it. So we made a request to add a shades or curtain, and GRF and the staff spent time and looking, and well, in the final stages, somehow they decide to drop because of a gate, because of too many doors. They cannot put the shades. So that thing, last 2 weeks ago, I complained, and Brad promised they're gonna permanently lock a few doors so that they can start putting shade. In fact, just like this shades to cover it up the window. So good thing for our community, or for those who are interested in seeing video or slideshow in Clubhouse 5.
7.
Seven. Clubhouse 7. Yes.
Steve, any report on the Finance Committee?
Only that the next meeting's on August 23rd.
And that's going to include a presentation by, isn't the finance, aren't the investment people coming to that meeting?
Oh, BlackRock, yes, sure will.
So BlackRock will be in attendance at that meeting, so everyone is invited in case if they have questions regarding the investments. I'm sure another email will go out about that, reminding everyone. Okay, landscape, anything?
Well, actually, they didn't have the landscape meeting last month, but the next meeting will be coming Thursday, day after tomorrow, 9 o'clock here. But also, I saw that there's Laguna Globe showing that their GRF board did approve the Aliso Creek mitigation project. I think it's authorized more than $110,000 for improve the creek, because a lot of people were, especially many United people complain about that creek situation. So that's a good thing. Thank you.
Anything from M&C?
Yes, the third the GRF M&C meeting was not held because of the urgency. The GRF board approved the other day a 6-court pickleball instead of the rather extensive, I think it was 8 or 9 courts, including tennis. And the city conditioned that project as a replacement facility. So as a consequence, the 4-court existing pickleball will probably may be demolished. Third M&C will be discussing, GRF M&C will be discussing that in the upcoming meeting.
Okay, thank you. And media and communications?
Media and communication. We are looking at the TV system all the time in terms of programming and technology. And Brad has pointed out a lot of things that are going on, including increasing our internet speed. And we're also looking at the cost of buying these programs and looking for ways to do that more cheaply and efficiently. And the next meeting is going to be August 21st in this boardroom. Thank you.
The reason why we ask for reports on committees is that third, for the housing mutuals, not only do we work on all of our committees as parts of the board, but we also have at least 2 members of our board sitting on every GRF committee. So that we can try, notice I use the word try, to give our input into decisions that they're making as we represent third. Okay, mobility and vehicles?
Okay, at the last meeting, Brad was there, and he talked a lot about replacing vehicles and how the fleet is aging. And in the proposed budget for next year, proposed amount is $1,006,000 to update the fleet. And the staff has completely looked at every vehicle, looked at the lifespan, the condition, what it can be used for, the functionality and all like that. And this is their recommendation to come up and modernize the fleet. Also, another thing that came up was about disaster preparedness. And there was an emphasis, and there is an ongoing emphasis, on getting more good neighbor building captains. And United has really put on a push. And we had some of our people come last week, and there were approximately 80 people that received training. We actually need about 400 building captains. It's not hard to do. If anybody's interested, let me know.
Okay,
And next meeting is August 2nd.
and the next, so you reported on security or mobility, or both?
That's mobility.
Oh, so who reports on security? Annette.
And,
Okay.
oh, okay.
Because disaster sounded like security, so I was getting mixed up.
Well, that's part of it.
Okay, yes, Annette.
Okay, I attended the security meeting, and the GRF security, their next meeting is August the 24th, and at 1:30 to 4:30 in the community center boardroom. Right now, they're looking at the viability of maybe charging contractors, securing a payment from them for business passes. Chief Moy said that the traffic accidents, most traffic accidents occurring in the village are people backing up. That's the largest percentage. He talked about staff training on pepper spray use, and he's reaching out to the building captains for training. And he said the RV lot, they're cleaning it up and securing it, and they're discovering who needs to be there and who doesn't, and they're trying to make the Laguna Wood Village safe for all of us. And the other thing he's putting together, that Chief Moy's working on, is to put together golf cart training.
That would be a good one.
I know. And then the last one is the traffic hearings, and that's tomorrow. I'll be there at in the boardroom, 9 a.m. to 3.
Okay. So we are done. I did find out because I got a text from Brett, who is obviously watching us on television, and he is in the alteration department, and he said that the standard is you have to have 5.7 feet for these windows that I'm talking about. And the windows, the 3-pane windows measure 36 inches tall and 2 feet wide, so they pass. And I can't understand if it's supposed to be that you're supposed to be able to get out of the window. Some people couldn't fit through 2 feet, so it doesn't seem, and what if it was 1 inch, 1 foot, whatever? So I think that's something that you want to look at, but all of my concern about the wrong windows is wrong, because it's supposed to be 5.7 feet. I just don't understand that. I'd like to see, maybe we should have a test and see how many people could climb out of the 2-foot window and say, okay, but I don't know whose code it is, so anyone at home who has that window, don't worry about it, because that's 2 feet, doesn't look like a lot. All right, but in any case, so does anyone else have any comments, or are we ready to have this meeting? This meeting will be recessed to closed session. Thank you all very much, and have a wonderful day.